last days of Judas Iscariot, Act 1. Oh, Tom,
Yes.
would you read this for me?
The Latin scholar.
Read what? Oh. Domine adjuva incredulitatem meam.
Darkness, rain from nowhere. A woman emerges from her past.
No parent should have to bury a child. No mother should have to bury a son. Mothers are not meant to bury sons. It's not in the natural order of things. I buried my son in a potter's field, in a field of blood, in empty, acrid silence. There was no funeral. There were no mourners. His friends, all absent. His father, dead. His sisters refusing to attend. I discovered his body alone. I dug his grave alone. I was not able to finish burying him before sundown, and I'm not sure if that affected his fate. I begrudge God none of this. I do not curse him or bemoan my lot, and though my heart keeps beating only to keep breaking, I do not question why. I remember the morning my son was born as if it was yesterday. The moment the midwife placed him in my arms, I was infused with a love beyond all measure and understanding. I remember holding my son and looking over at my own mother, and saying, now I understand why the sun comes up at day and the stars come out at night. I understand why rain falls gently. Now I understand, Mother. I loved my son every day of his life, and I will love him ferociously long after I've stopped breathing. I'm a simple woman. I am not bright or learned. I do not read. I do not write. My opinions are not solicited. My voice is not important. On the day of my son's birth, I was infused with a love beyond all measure and understanding. The world tells me that God is in heaven and that my son is in hell. I tell the world the one true thing I know. If my son is in hell, then there is no heaven. Because if my son sits in hell, there is no God.
Jesus, carrying a bucket, has crossed to the woman. He kisses her cheek. She does not notice. They vanish.
Scene 1, a courtroom. Court is in session. A woman with wings rises.
Between heaven and hell, there is another place. This place, hope. Hope is located right over here in downtown Purgatory.
Case.
Now, Purgatory, contrary to popular belief, has plumbing, bodegas, and they even got a movie theater and a little park that people can walk their dogs at. Hope? Well, it ain't got none of that, and it definitely don't smell good.
Next case. Bailiff.
I worked here in Hope for 2.5 years. That's how I got these wings. And I wouldn't trade nothing for these wings. I can fly in these wings. At night, I fly down to earth and I watch my little baby boy sleep. He's 7. He's got a picture of me on his wall right in between Shaquille O'Neal and the Hulk. Then I go fly uptown to the window of my eldest baby girl's house and I watch my grandchild, little Bit, sleep. Most nights I can see my oldest baby girl Tanya with her feet in a pot of hot water, always studying them books. And I'll stick around to see her man Winston come home late at night from work, always with a muffin or a hamburger for my baby girl. Winston's love for my baby girl is all over his face. I was wrong about him. I always thought he was shifty. When I get back to heaven, I tell my husband Delane all about it. Delane don't like to fly, but he likes to hear the stories, and he likes how I look when I come home from Earth all windblown. Now, hope, it changes with the times, but it stood as always as God's gift to the last of his children. It is said that every civilization rearranges the cosmic furniture differently. In biblical times, hope is an oasis in the desert. In medieval days, a shack for a plague. Today, hope is no longer a place for contemplation, litigation being the preferred new order of the day.
Where's my damn bailiff?
Here, sir.
Then call the next damn case.
Yes, sir. God and the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Thorson, the implacable motion to appeal.
Denied. Next case.
God and the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Henry Wayne Masters.
Nope.
God and the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Judas Iscariot.
You skipped one.
You know?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. God and the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Benedict Arnold.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, and now, God and the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Judas Iscariot.
Judas Iscariot? Who brings this crap before me?
Your Honor, my name is Fabiana Aziza Cunningham.
Never heard of you.
I live in purgatory.
Well, you should have kept your legs closed. Motion denied. Next case.
Your Honor, I have a writ signed by St. Peter at the gates of heaven.
Next case.
But I have a writ.
She has a writ, sir.
Excuse me?
Well, just saying. The lady, she's got a writ, so I mean,
Bailiff, let's set up a little signal between the two of us, okay?
okay.
Good. Now, when I come to court dressed as Ethel Merman in a one-piece bathing suit, that'll be my signal to you that I want your opinion.
Yes, sir.
Next case.
But what about the writ, sir?
What's your name, bailiff?
Julius of Outer Mongolia.
You're on work release from purgatory, Julius, correct?
Yes, sir.
Want to get to heaven someday? Eat fried chicken and mashed potatoes? Feel the sun on your face?
Oh, very much, sir.
Then call the next damn case.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Good. Have a lollipop.
Thank you, sir.
Next case.
But like the writ, sir.
Bailiff.
Yusef Akbar Aziz Al Nassar Gamal Al Fayoumi rises dramatically from his seat in the courthouse. Rising dramatically.
Bueller.
Barney?
Bernie?
No. Bernie?
On to Bernie.
Where the hell is Bernie?
Bernie, I think you're muted.
You're muted, Bernie.
Oh. It is I, Yusef al-Akbar Aziz al-Nassar Gamel al-Fayoumi.
Who the hell are you?
An attorney, great sir, willing and able to prosecute this sham of a case and defend the gates of heaven and the kingdom of God against this big shenanigan of so-called writ, great handsome sir. Look no further, Your Honor. Yusef Akbar al-Nassar Gamel al-Fayoumi is a beacon for justice.
Beacon, eh?
May I approach you?
The bench, not me.
The bench, of course, yes. And it is a lovely bench, splendid and sturdy like the great derriere that rests upon it, Your Honor. I have received wind of this so-called writ several weeks ago. I have been preparing night and day to refute the allegations it contains.
Sorry. Your Honor, let the record reflect, I have no opposition to Mr. al-Fayoumy's, al-Fayoumi here.
Speak when I'm spoken to.
Do not bait this great man, lady. He presided over the appeal of Attila the Hun when you were nothing more than a cheap shot of whiskey on your great-great-grandfather's first unpaid bar tab.
Ah, well said.
Forgive the outburst.
You got a license to practice, Mr. al-Fahita?
A license, yes, absolutely. Submitted for your most scrupulously discerning approval, eminent great sir.
Sir, his name's El Fayumi.
What?
You called him El Fajita.
Oh, just give me my glasses.
You're wearing them, sir?
My other glasses!
Oh. Here.
Most worshipful Lord and Master, a very tiny problem. My license, I seem to have left it in my other foot. I could rush back to hell and retrieve it.
Oh, from hell, are you?
Temporarily detained. A problem with my papers.
You sure about that?
Quite sure, Your Grace. I attribute a mix-up to the Americanization of the afterlife. Completely understandable in lieu of recent events.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Yes, Your Eminence. And as are you, great sir.
Cunningham, let me see this writ.
Here, Your Honor.
You have great legs, Fabiana. Free for dinner, perhaps?
Cunningham, this writ is garbage. Next case.
Your Honor, my client.
Your client is Judas Iscariot. Your client sold out the Son of God, for Christ's
Your
sake.
Honor, that has no bearing on the situation.
Cunningham, Judas Iscariot committed the one unforgivable sin. Everybody knows
The
it.
sin of despair.
And then he did the world a favor and hung himself.
From the old French, the coward.
Next case.
Your Honor, the writ you hold in your hands is signed by Saint Peter.
I know Peter, and he's prone to error, believe me. And he's rash.
Rash, absolutely. A little place called the Garden of Gethsemane rang a bell, Fabiana, where the authorities came to arrest Jesus after your client sold him out with a kiss. What did Peter do?
I know what he did.
Well, know it again. Peter took out his sword and started jabbing off the ears of the authority. Can you imagine? Jesus had to correct him, put the ears back on. It was a big mess, really.
Next case.
But Your Honor.
Next case.
Come, Fabiana. Dinner and a sensual massage, it will soothe you.
Your Honor, I cite Beatitudes and Kierkegaard. I cite Christ on the cross.
I cite my foot in your ass, Cunningham.
I cite Hegel. Within every idea, thesis is contained its contradiction and antithesis. And out of that struggle is created synthesis. Synthesis, Your Honor, the union of opposites, the interdependence and their inevitable clash, producing what's next, what must be revealed. God's perfect love versus God's rightful justice equals what, Your Honor?
Out of my courtroom.
But Your Honor, Your Honor.
Next case, next case, next case, next case.
All right now, people, cure them trumpets and the dancing camels.
Thanks, boys. Hey, y'all. Welcome to my world. So this is the part of the story where if it wasn't for me, there wouldn't be no more parts to the fucking story, okay? My name is Monica, better known to you mere mortals as Saint Monica. Yeah, that's right. Saint, as in, better not don't get up in my grill because I'll mess your shit up because I'm a saint and I got mad saintly connects, okay? You ever drove down Santa Monica Boulevard? You ever ate down some sushis down the Santa Monica Pier? Well, that's my boulevard and my pier. And that's all I gotta say about that. Word to the wise. Word is most definitely B-O-N-D, bond. Anyways, let me catch my breath. Anyways, up in heaven, a lot of peoples don't want to hang out with me because they say I'm an act. It's true. And you know what? You know what I have to say about that? I say, fuck them bitches. Because you know what? I am an ag. And if I wasn't a nag, I would have never made it to be no saint, and the church wouldn't have had no father of the church named Saint Augustine, because I birthed that motherfucker, raised him, and when he started messing up, like all the time and constantly, I nagged God's ass to save him. I nagged and nagged and nagged and nagged till God got so tired of my shit that he did save my son. And my son, Saint Augustine, he stopped banging whores and sipping on some wine, and he became learned, so fucking learned that he's known as one of the fathers up in the church. And you can look that shit up. Go ahead, look it up right now. I'll wait. Yeah, that's right. Father up in this motherfucker. Father of the church. Got a plaque and everything. So if I hadn't been a nag, all of y'all niggas would have been a bastard church. So sip on that, bitches. Anyways, whew, let me catch my breath. Okay, as a result of my reputation of having God's ear, a whole lot of motherfuckers pray to me. I had 3 full-time assistants just to sift through it all. Long story short, I was asked to look into the case of Judas Iscariot by this Irish gypsy lawyer bitch in purgatory named Cunningham. She wanted me to do some nagging of God on Judas' behalf. And quite frankly, I was impressed by her nagging abilities, because that bitch nagged my ass day and night for 40 days. But I don't nag for just anybody. And I definitely don't nag for no motherfucker I don't know. So, I went down to check out Judas for myself. He looked fucking retarded. He wouldn't talk or nothing. He didn't seem to hear me, and I'm not someone who has a problem expressing myself, so I figured he was faking it. So I did this. Yo, Judas! Judas! Yo, you deaf motherfucker? Yo, Judas! Yo! I smacked that bitch around a little. Yo! Yo, Helen Keller, wake up! Don't front, I know you could hear me. Then I started snapping on his ass. Yo, Judas! Yo, you got change for 30 pieces of silver, motherfucker? Yo, Judas! Yo, how much you pay for that haircut? 30 pieces of silver? Yo, Judas! Yo, why you so hung up? Come on, let's hang out. Come on, bitch, go out on a limb. You want an olive? Come on, motherfucker, have an olive. You want to go to the Olive Garden restaurant? They say they got good olive oil there. All right, fine. Come on, Judas, what do you say? You and me, we go down to the bar and we betray some motherfuckers. What do you say? I know you like betraying. What's up, you ain't in the mood to betray today? All right, motherfucker. We can just hang. Get it? Hang. Get it? Do you get it? Yo, what's the matter? Oh, you hungry? How about some supper? You want some supper, motherfucker? Come on, one last supper. What do you say? I couldn't break him. So I sat down next to him. I sat with Judas Iscariot for 3 days. Then, on the night of the 3rd day, something happened. While I was rusting my vocal cords, I saw something unexpected. I saw a single tear fall out of Judas's eye. Just one. When the tear hit the ground, I saw it was red like a ruby. I looked into his eyes like this. He couldn't look at me. Or he looked through me. I couldn't tell. His eyes was empty. He barely breathed. He was like a catatonic statue of a former human being. And I detected sadness in him. Paralyzing, immobilizing, overwhelming sadness. His sadness ran through him like a river that had frozen up and died, and no one lived there no more. After a while, I didn't know what else to do, so I thought I'd just hold him in my arms for a minute, warm him up before I left. I held him in my arms for 4 days, and on the 3rd day, I remember how Jesus had said that God has the biggest love for the least of his creatures. And Judas was the leastest creature I had ever seen. On the fourth day, Judas dropped another single tear. It was clear colored this time, and it evaporated into the earth on impact. He trembled briefly, then he froze up again. I had seen enough. I took off my outer garments and I left them for him so he could smell something human. I collected my tears in a bucket and I poured it onto his face so he could taste the salt. Then I went back home and I got on the horn of God, yo. I dialed direct, yo. Some people call it being an ag. I call it just doing my job. I got a calling, y'all. You should try giving me a shout out if you ever need it. Because my name is Saint Monica. I'm the mother of Saint Augustine, one of the fathers of the church, and you know what? My ass gets results.
Next case.
God and the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Judas Iscariot.
Bailiff.
Well, she's got a writ signed by God, sir.
Signed, sealed, and delivered, motherfucker. Peace!
Here is the writ, Your Honor. Note the signature at the bottom.
Bailiff, where's El Fajita?
Present and accounted for and dripping with anticipation to defend the marvelous cunning and great relish the kingdom of heaven and earth and your great silence against the Satan's bond traitor Judas Iscariot and his beguiling but outlandishly misguided counsel, most eminently great and rakishly handsome great sir.
Cunningham, I do not like it when lawyers go over my head.
You gave me no choice.
Objection, Your Honor. As human beings, we always have choice. Motion to strike.
Mr. El Fajita, you are aware that the trial hasn't actually begun yet, right?
Yes, right. Of course. I was merely, yes, sir.
Fabiana Aziza Cunningham, that right?
It is.
So where's your red hair and freckles, Cunningham?
My mother was a Romanian gypsy who settled in Vinegar Hill in Harlem in the 1960s.
And your father?
Local parish priest.
Got more than his palm read, did he? All right then, Cunningham, I think it's only fair at this juncture to tell you some things about myself. Things that may perhaps inspire you to take your little mission elsewhere. For example, I strongly dislike tapioca pudding.
Tapioca, oh, the worst. I spit on it.
Sit down. But even more than tapioca, Cunningham, I dislike the following. Defense attorneys as a rule, half-breeds in general, and Judas Iscariot as anything other than a cautionary tale. Now that a problem for you?
No.
You ever met God, Cunningham?
I don't know that I believe in God.
You just handed me a writ signed by him, and yet you don't know if you believe?
Correct.
Well, what if God appeared to you, Cunningham? Just one day, boom, God, white beard, flowing robe, the whole rack of lamb.
Your Honor, I don't
What if you were to go home tonight, Cunningham, and Jesus Christ himself were to greet you at your door with a dozen Krispy Kremes and a quart of cold milk and say, Cunningham, Fabiana, it's me. I really am that thing that you're always feared more than doubted. What would you do?
Your Honor, I still
What if you let him in, Cunningham? You sat down with the man for just, say, 3 minutes, and you could touch him and inspect him and interrogate him all you want and have him do miracles and tell you the exact story of your life. And you ended up convinced, Cunningham, wiping away tears of joy and relief on your living room couch. And if he proved it to you, Cunningham, would you believe then?
If he proved it, I suppose I would have to.
After only 3 minutes?
But that would never happen.
Cunningham, you're the cynical, faithless spawn of a crackpot gypsy and a defrocked Mick. Yet you just told me that Jesus would have you on your knees in 3 minutes.
So?
So consider this. Your friend Judas, he had Jesus for 3 years. Think about that, Cunningham. 3 years in the foxhole with the best friend you ever had. Then he shot him in the back for a pack of cools. Think what that says about the essential character of the man. Now, go home and stir that into your wee gypsy teapot. Petition's invalid, petition denied. Next case.
Genius! I am erect.
Your Honor, this petition is signed by God.
Yeah, but ain't signed by your client now, is it?
My client is catatonic. He is not capable of signing.
If he's catatonic, then how do you know he wants an appeal in the first place?
Who wouldn't want to appeal damnation?
Someone who was aware of his own self-inflicted erosion of the capacity to be filled by grace. Someone too prideful to ask for forgiveness, even in the face of the fiery furnace. Or maybe he don't bother asking because he knows he don't deserve it.
Your Honor, the only person who needs forgiveness is the one who doesn't deserve it.
Then let him ask.
I'm asking for him.
Out of my courtroom, sister, and may God have mercy on your blasted, arrogant soul. Now, get thee back uptown, woman. Stop your rabble-rousing and get humble, because you ain't going to get to heaven by trying to dismantle the natural order of things that the good Lord has so thoughtfully put together.
Your Honor, are you a citizen of heaven?
Bailiff, remove this woman.
You live here with us. You know no more about God's law than anyone else in this court.
My papers are pending. I'll be up there any day now.
Your papers have been pending since 1864. Your Honor, that's 140 years.
There's an insinuation at the end of that statement, Cunningham. I suggest you don't make it.
Well, not an insinuation, Your Honor, but a question. If the truth really does set us free, then what is it, Your Honor, that is progressively precluding your capacity to respond to the call of that truth? Because 140 years ago suggests to me that you are moving not closer, but farther and farther away from it every day.
What the hell does Judas Iscariot have to do with my truth, Cunningham? I didn't hang myself from some olive branch.
Not from an olive branch, but on a battlefield in northern Georgia in 1864. Allatoona. And the tree? Oak, I believe. Your Honor, I have to wonder what your honest answer will be when you are someday asked how different you are now from that day when you died.
Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. That work for you?
It does.
Put it in the docket.
Docket?
Just write it down.
Anything
Anything else, Fabiana Aziza Cunningham?
No, Your Honor.
Next fucking case.
Fear not, your grace. I shall slay this fallen woman as the crocodile slays the one-legged newt.
Next case. Next case. Next case. Next case.
Very little is actually known about Judas Iscariot. Oh, this is my fellow jury member, Loretta. On Earth, she's currently on life support.
Hi, hello.
Have they figured out whether you're coming or going yet?
Not really. Any day now, they say.
Say, Loretta, you smoke cigarettes?
Well, not unconscious on a respirator.
Yeah, but you got one for me?
Maybe in my clutch. Oh, here.
Aw, snap. Newports? You are my girl now. You got a light?
It's a NASCAR lighter.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, about Judas. Not a lot is known except that he was chosen to be an apostle. He betrayed Jesus and then he hung himself. Not a lot to go on, especially when we're meant to rely on facts.
You know, can I say this?
Go ahead.
When I was a little girl, my drunk Uncle Pino, he used to go around saying,
I believe because it is absurd. It is certain because it is impossible.
What did he mean by that?
no clue. But I think...
Ladies, we're back.
Oh, wait, hold up. Now that's Butch Honeywell. And unlike Loretta, he definitely did. And also unlike Loretta, he got no real interest in finding that out. So, Butch, did we miss anything in there?
Oh, just some crap about the essential products of man. How we refuse to juxtapose the absolute to the relative and some such paradox as the ontological definition, which openness, the relation between existence, cognitive spirit, and eternal truth. Bullshit. Listen, they pass out lunch menus at what you guys combo clubs with fritters.
Fritters, awesome. Thanks, Butch.
Right this way, ladies.
Next witness.
Great magnificent, sir. The prosecution now calls Henrietta Iscariot, mother to Judas Iscariot, to the stand. Bailiff?
Bailiff?
State your name, ma'am.
Henrietta Iscariot.
Yes. Good day, Miss Iscariot.
Good day.
Yes. I can't help but notice, Miss Iscariot, you are a very well-built woman. Would it be fair, would it be fair to say your cup runneth over?
All the Iscariots are buxom, if that's what you mean.
My meaning exactly. Now then, can you recall if Judas Iscariot, as an infant, was born to steal more than his fair share of milk from your deliciously well-apportioned bosom?
I cannot recall that, no.
Well, very well, but can you recall this? I take you back to the year 8. You were a single parent, raising many children, Judas being the eldest and the man of the family. You sent him out fishing to get food for you and his poor starving sisters. What happened next?
Do I have to answer?
Just tell the truth, ma'am.
Well, Judas didn't come home till very late. I waited by the fire. I was worried he was only 8. I was concerned that maybe the Romans had detained him for shoplifting again.
A shoplifter! So please the court!
But then he came home.
Mommy,
Judas, I was so worried.
look what I got, Mommy, a spinning top.
Judas, did you catch any fish? Your sisters are weeping with hunger.
Weeping.
Weeping, your great sir. Weeping and wailing.
I caught 5 fish, Mommy.
Where are they? But where are they?
We sold them in the market and bought this spinning top. Look how it spins, Mommy.
Oh, Judas Iscariot, I am ashamed of you.
Oh, Mommy.
Selfish boy, you will come to no good.
Selfish boy, you will come to no good. Was that your statement at the time?
Sorry, Paige. Sorry.
Bottom of 21. Sorry, top of 21.
He was only 8.
8. And too late. Nothing further, great sir.
Cross.
No, thank you.
I wasn't asking you.
Oh.
Mrs. Iscariot, what happened the next day?
Well, he ran away from home that night, and I searched for him all day. Late in the afternoon, I
Mommy, to buy you one. Ask your daddy then.
I got a daddy, but they took all our goats last month, and now we don't have no money for nothing, even food. And so my father makes me go to the butcher and ask for bones for my dog, but I don't have a dog, and the butcher knows I don't have a dog, but he gave me the bones because he takes pity on me, and then I give them to my father, and he makes soup for us with the bones, and we eat it, and it tastes really bad. And my grandmom says, my father's pride is wounded because he can't earn no money because the Romans took our goats, and that's why everybody messed up, and I can't have no spinning top or nothing. Uh-oh.
What?
I better go home now. I have to be home before 6. My father's very stern.
Okay.
Well, thank you for letting me play with your spinning top, Judas. Maybe someday my daddy will get some more goats, and then I'll get a spinning top, and I'll come back and play spinning tops with you, and we can play spinning tops and stuff. That was fun.
The sad boy started to leave. Then,
wait. Here.
What?
You can have it.
I can have your spinning top?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Wowie zowie, Dad. Thank you, Judas.
when people ask me who my son was, I tell them that story.
Thank you, Mrs. Iscariot. The witness is excused.
So fast, Mrs. Iscariot. Your son was beat up by Roman authorities the very next day on the charge of stealing a blind man's staff, correct? A blind man's staff that he then pawned to Omar the baker to purchase, it says here, cotton candy and a royal blue spinning top, correct? Correct? Is that correct, Mrs. Iscariot?
I don't know. It was long ago.
Speak into the microphone.
There is no microphone.
Oh, yes, that is true. Your Honor, we have reason to believe that the staff-deprived blind man in question was later run over by a rabid Judean camel. Here is the death certificate. No further questions.
Next witness.
Yes, great wise sir. Prosecution calls the incomparable Mother Teresa to the stand.
Name?
you say something?
Name?
What?
Your name, please, ma'am.
Oh, Jess, 10:45, okay?
Mother Teresa, hello, hello, over here.
Who's that?
Hello, it is I, Mother. Remember me?
Oh, Jess, a handsome boy. Hello.
Yes, hello. How are you?
Speak louder, boy.
I said, how are you?
What?
I said, how are you?
Judge, bailiff, I believe we do have a hearing device for Mother Teresa.
Get the device.
I believe you have the device, sir.
What? Oh, here.
Madam, put these on.
What?
Ma'am?
What? Oh, thank you, giant man. Oh.
Yes. Hello, Mother. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
How about now?
Jess?
How about that?
You are tricking me, no?
Yes, I was tricking.
Oh, bad boy.
Very bad. A scandal, yes, I know.
Your Honor, if the prosecution is through flirting with the beatified iconic virgin, we could perhaps begin.
Alpha Yumi, contact has been established. Let's get on with it now, shall we?
Without further hesitation, Your Grace, forgive the delay. I was simply enamored to be in her beatific presence, Your Eminence. I love Mother Teresa, great one in Christian Egypt. She is a great star. As a young boy, I used to don a towel and my mother's nightgown and stalk the back streets of Cairo, looking for dying things to comfort them and salve. Yes, Mother, I love you, really. You are the oasis. You are the light.
Do we need to take a moment here, Counselor?
Yes, Your Honor. Perhaps we do.
5-minute recess. Adjourned.
My name is Peter. I got a basilica named after me in Rome, which is ironic, because back in the day, if you even said the word Rome in my presence, more than likely I'd beat you with my stick. I even had a standing rule on my fishing boat that was strictly enforced. Talk about Rome and your ass can swim home alone. I had to have some kind of rules laid down strong because my younger brother Drew and his friends, they like to waste their time talking about overthrowing Rome and the coming of the Messiah instead of focusing on the task at hand. And I'd like be like, look, fellas, unless your Messiah is going to come down right now and help us catch some fish, then you all need to shut the heck up and put your individual focus on the damn nets. Then one day, Drew didn't turn up for work. Then he comes running up to me at the shore, and at the end of the day, when I'm bringing home the boat back in, talking about, this is Jesus, bro. He's the Messiah, and I ain't fishing no more. I'm just going to follow him. And it's Jesus who resembled the Messiah about as much as I resemble a ballerina in a tutu, strides up to me and he says, catch any fish today? And I say, no, I did not catch any fish today. And he says, take the boat back out to the sea and you're going to catch some fish. So I took Jesus out with me, intending to throw his ass overboard. But then he says, cast your nets wide and deep. So I did. And then, well, all I can say is I'm a damn professional commercial fisherman, and no one knew the sea and its tides better than me. There weren't no fish out there, but, well, that's because it turned out they was all in my net. And then Jesus said, follow me, and I will make you a fisher of men. And what I didn't know was I would never see the sea again.
My name is Matthew. I was a Jewish tax collector for the empire. My job was to take the food out of your mouth and see it shipped off to Rome. Roman tax was exorbitant and non-negotiable. If you had 6 geese, I took 3. If you had a flock of sheep, I took 50%. If you had only 1 sheep, I cut that sheep in half. If you had no sheep, I took a child, your child, and I had him or her sold into slavery to settle your debt to the emperor. This is not a made-up story. This is history. This is fact. We were a conquered nation, and I was a traitor to my people. I was a Jew stealing from Jews. According to our laws, I was a sinner and a traitor. I was unclean, unfit to be gazed upon. That's who I was.
I hated your ass to look at it.
And I looked at you, Peter, as a dumb, ignorant fisherman.
And I looked at you, Matthew, as something I can't say in mixed company.
I was a scumbag.
True that.
I was a scumbag. And it was against the law to look me in the eye. Jesus, he looked me in the eye. That's all he did. He looked me in the eye and he said, follow me. And before I knew it, I had. And before we broke the bread that night, I was clean again. I was clean.
El Fayumi, are we ready to proceed?
Absolutely. Forgive the delay. Mother Teresa, I will not take much of your time, and certainly you are in no need of introduction.
I don't mind.
Very well then, Mother Teresa. You are a soon-to-be canonized saint and recipient of the Nobel Prize for Peace. You are from Albania, which tells me you know how to handle a firearm, but yet from the age of 12, you desire to serve God. At 18, you entered the convent, and at 21, you left for the slums of Calcutta, and soon after began ministering to the sick and dying, which you did with mercy, love, grace, and generosity for the rest of your life until the day you died. Correct?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely yes, Mother. Now then, Mother, I call you to the stand today for a special purpose.
And what is that?
Yes, I am coming to it. Mother, your life and subsequent canonization suggests to me that you know a thing or two about God and life and the spirit, correct?
I know what I know. What do you want to know?
Yes, Mother. Is there a hell?
I hope not, but I think so.
Judas Iscariot, he is in hell, yes?
Well, we can't never know for sure, but it don't look good.
Mother, shouldn't we feel sorry for someone in hell?
Very sorry, yes.
Does God feel sorry for people in hell?
Oh, more sorry than us, yes.
But if God feels so sorry, why not bring the damned upstairs? 3 hots and a cot, yes? Surely God has the power.
Boy, God can lead you anywhere, but sometimes the people, they don't want to go. If the people don't want to go, then what are you going to do?
But surely these people, they do not prefer to go to hell?
Oh, you'd be surprised. Do you know what despair is, boy?
Mother, illuminate me.
I will tell you what Thomas Merton, who was a very handsome boy, oh, like you, I will tell you what that boy had to say about despair. Oh, you may not know this, but I, at one time in my life, suffered a great spiritual darkness.
Oh, no, not you.
Quiet now, boy. Yes. For many, many years, I experienced a terrible pain of loss, of God not wanting me, of God not being God, and of God not really existing. One day, I confided my feelings to a friend, an Irish nun, one of the sisters of Loretto from Dublin, Ireland. My friend, Sister Glenna, she quoted to me Thomas Merton on the subject of despair. She said,
Despair, the ultimate development of a pride so great and so stiff-necked that it selects an absolute misery of damnation rather than accept happiness from the hands of God, and thereby acknowledge that He is above us and that we are not capable of fulfilling our destiny by ourselves.
do you understand what I am saying to you?
Can you repeat it?
Yes, sure.
Despair is the ultimate development of a pride so great and so stiff-necked that it selects the absolute misery of damnation rather than accept happiness from the hands of God, and thereby acknowledge that He is above us and that we are not capable of fulfilling our destiny by ourselves.
Ah, yes, I think I see.
Judas, he succumbed to despair. The music of God's love and grace kept playing, but he made himself hard of hearing. Oh, like me, no? I need this earphone device to hear you, yes? Without them, I can hear nothing. Judas, he threw his earphones away, and that is very sad. But that is what he chose, and that is what happened.
But mother, couldn't God have just obtained a megaphone and simply shouted instructions into Judas' ear?
Boy, one must participate in one's own salvation. In order to hear, one must be willing to listen. When you turn off God, you are saying, I know better than you. No good, boy, no good.
No good indeed. Mother, you are a ravishing delight, and I thank you for your astute and expert testimony.
Cross.
Mother Teresa, upon receiving your Nobel Prize, did you say to the world, quote, the biggest obstacle to global peace in the world today is abortion?
Yes, I said that.
Do you actually believe that?
Yes, I do.
You accepted large cash donations from the Duvalier family in Haiti, correct?
Yes.
Duvalier being a dictator who murdered and stole from his own people.
He gave, I took.
Blood money?
Oh no, cashier check.
You also took money from Charles Keating, the savings and loan scam artist who robbed American citizens of billions of dollars.
For the poor, I took it. You got $5? I take from you too.
You opposed the Vatican II reforms, which among other things called for a long due official condemnation of anti-Semitism as it relates to the death of Christ. Did you oppose Vatican II, Mother Teresa?
Yes.
You blamed the wars of the world on abortion, took blood money from murderers and thieves, and opposed taking a stance against anti-Semitism. I'm having trouble understanding why we're supposed to consider you an expert on having anything to do with the spirit.
Oh, Jess?
Yes.
Then maybe you better figure it out.
I had 2 abortions, Mother Teresa. What do you think about that?
I will pray for you and your children.
I don't have any children.
Oh, not anymore. And that is terrible.
Mother Teresa, if abortion is so terrible, then how come I'm not in hell?
I don't know. Did anybody tell you you're not?
Whew. Must be nice to have all the answers.
Must be hard to have only questions.
I can live with my question, Mother Teresa. But if you can live with those answers, then with all due respect, I'd say your place is not in heaven with the saints, but with the rest of the dinosaurs living in the Stone Age. Nothing further.
Mother Teresa, I wonder if you will join me in wondering just who the hell the defense counsel thinks she's speaking like that to?
It's okay, boy. Everybody want to say something.
Yes?
Nobody want to listen nothing.
This is correct, Mother. And on that well-struck note, Mother, let us now go back and address some of the outlandish...
I go now.
But I'm not finished.
I go now.
Oh, as you wish, Mother. And I think we should all emblazon in our memories.
Boy.
Yes, Mother.
Maybe, boy, you give this earphone device to girl. Like this, maybe girl gonna hear something make her head don't hurt no more.
There is nothing wrong with my head.
Cunningham, stand down.
Oh, nice boy. Handsome boy.
Yeah.
Defense calls Simon the Zealot to the stand.
Name?
Simon the Zealot.
You were one of the 12 apostles, Simon, correct?
Yeah.
And you were a zealot.
Yeah.
Was Judas Iscariot a zealot?
Well, he didn't go to the meetings or nothing, but yeah, he was pretty much a zealot, if you ask me.
Zealots being Jews seeking an end to the violent oppression of the Roman occupation, correct?
Actually, not exactly, no.
Are you saying that the zealots were in favor of the Roman occupation?
Nah, not at all. We hated the Romans, absolutely. We wanted their pagan asses to hit the curb running and bloody, but we was also opposed to any Gentiles in Palestine, Greek, Roman, whatever. What us zealots was really about was promoting the strict adherence to the Mosaic law.
Mosaic law being?
The law of Moses, the Torah. That was the whole bag right there, miss. Get rid of the seeds, of the bad seeds, and unite the people under the holy law of God. Basically, we were the street version of the Caiaphas. Supposed to do.
But he didn't do that, did he? And yet he was capable of it, wasn't he? You saw him perform miracles, raise people from the dead.
It was a bit of a conundrum, yeah.
Were you at the disturbance at the temple?
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
You kidding? I loved it. Judas too. We all did. We thought it was on, you know?
On meaning?
The beginning of the revolution.
But it wasn't, was it?
Nah.
What happened after the riot at the temple?
Jesus had us all return to this house. Then he was like, I'm going to die soon, so let's just chill.
Oh, that must have been very disappointing.
It was confusing. I mean, whacked out shit, man. 1 minute Jesus was beating infidels down and I'm talking fists and whips. Jesus was whipping ass, knocking out teeth, screaming he's going to tear down the temple. Next minute, he's all passive. And we're all like, we invested 3 years in this guy, and you know, he's going to just lay down? It didn't seem to make no sense.
Simon, why do you think Judas Iscariot turned Jesus over to the authorities?
Personally, I think Jesus was trying to, I'm sorry, I think Judas was trying to throw Jesus into the deep end of the pool, make him swim.
Judas was testing Jesus.
Not testing, because we all knew Jesus had mad skills to pass the test.
What then?
Listen, I knew Judas pretty good. It was pretty tight on account of, you know, our politics and whatnot. What I believe is this. Judas knew that if the Romans grabbed up Jesus, that Jesus would have to act.
Meaning
act. Get it on and start kicking ass like he was supposed to. Emancipation was our birthright. That's what the Messiah was here for. I think personally that Judas did what he did to help Jesus realize his destiny and fulfill his mission.
Judas tried to help Jesus.
I believe so, yes.
Thank you.
So, Judas was a helper, eh?
Yeah.
Just there to lend a helping hand, yes?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I think you are correct, as zealous one. Because for me, I know that if my best friend were to sell me out and betray me for a roll of quarters, causing me to be beaten, whipped, gouged, mangled, and then strung up and left to be baked by the hot Judean sun till I resembled a shriveled up, bearded Frankfurter. Why, yes, I'm sure my first thought as I gasped for air and bled to death would be, really, that Judas, what a helpful guy. Oh, yes, I must remember to send him the thank you note. Simon the Zealot, let's talk turkey. Judas was your friend, yes?
Yeah.
You thought the same way, yes?
Yeah.
Shared the same opinions.
Yeah.
Had the same beliefs.
Yeah.
Wanted the same things.
Yes.
Wanted them desperately.
Yeah.
Then why, Zealot, did you not do like Judas did? If you believed what you believed and thought what you thought, why, Zealot, did you not join Judas or turn on Jesus in on your own? Can you explain this to me?
I don't know.
Protecting a friend, that is admirable indeed. Zealot, Jesus never said his mission as Messiah on earth was to overthrow the Romans, did he?
Not exactly, no.
You wanted it to be the mission. You even thought it was the mission, but it wasn't really the mission, was it?
I guess not.
How is it, zealous one, that you came to understand that violence wasn't part of Jesus' mission, but Judas never did?
I couldn't say.
Answer me this. What was your inner life like before you met Jesus of Nazareth? I don't think I need to advise you to be honest here, do I?
No, I was consumed with anger. Jesus, he saved my life.
Man of zeal. Final question. Do you believe, as the Bible says, that God made man in his own image?
I do.
Of course you do. And there, my zealous friend, lies the answer of my previous questions. The difference, I posit, between you and Judas Iscariot is that you accepted that you were created in God's image, whereas Judas Iscariot, he sought to create God in his own image, God as earthly avenger, which was not God's way. And even though you were scared, Zealot, even though you were confused and angry and hurt, still you chose to obey God, didn't you?
I guess I got lucky.
Luck indeed. Simon the Zealot, there is something beautiful about you, and that is your modesty. You are a God-fearing man. Go now, be free.
Jesus never proclaimed himself to be God, Simon, correct?
Nah, he never did.
What did Judas say to Jesus? Oh, sorry, what did Jesus say to Judas at the Last Supper?
He said, do what you got to do.
Sounds like Jesus approved.
Maybe.
But if you were Judas, Simon, and doing what you had to do ended up getting you thrown into despair and hanging from a tree and being sent to hell to live in misery and infamy and perpetuity, I mean, if you were Judas, wouldn't you have kind of wished that Jesus had maybe said something else instead?
Yes, counselor. I very much would have.
Would it kind of make you feel like you got fucked?
Objection! Language! A foul mouth is a dirty bird.
I withdraw the question.
I would have felt like you said, though.
Thank you, Simon. Nothing further.
Next witness.
Most Reverend Signor, your magisterial permission, prosecution now conjures Satan, the prince of darkness, to the stand.
I'm gonna let it shine. This city light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Fabiana Aziza Cunningham, right?
Lou!
I've been keeping the light on for you, Cunningham.
Come on now, Lou. Why don't you take your seat and we can get started here?
You never change, Frank, do ya?
I suppose I don't.
I like that about you. Now say, how's Wilhelmina doing? And the girls?
I wouldn't know. Now park your caboose in that chassis if you would, please.
I'm sorry. Of course. Far away. My apologies, Frank.
Bailiff!
I was helping the elderly, sir.
Let's just proceed. El Fayumi, proceed.
Yes, yes. How are you today, Satan?
Well, long night, but no regrets.
Of late partying with the decadent and debauched?
Oh God, does it show?
Oh, no, not at all.
I'll tell you, I could barely make it through my double session Pilates this morning. If it weren't for the good genes, I've been raising with tits in a perm.
Yes, well, you look very good. Sincerely, really, Satan. You do have an excellent physique.
Oh, thank you. Well, so do you.
Oh, but thank you too. Yes, I make exercises. Anyway, no horns and tail today, Prince of Evil.
No.
At the dry cleaners, I suppose.
Yes.
Yes, I must say, cleaner of the damned, your candor is quite refreshing.
As is yours.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Oh, your jacket, Satan, really is. It is smart.
Oh, you like it?
Beautiful, really. Armani?
Gucci.
Gucci. Yes, elegant, very. Yes. So, And your trousers, are they Gucci too?
Yeah.
They have a lovely sheen. Anyway, let's begin then, shall we?
I am at your service.
I appreciate that.
And I appreciate your appreciation.
Excellent. So, Dark One, tell me, did you have any conversations with Judas Iscariot prior to his selling out of Jesus Christ?
No, I did not.
Sure about that?
Quite sure, yes.
Never entered into him, as I believe St. Luke's Gospel puts it.
No. No.
And again, you are more or less sure of that.
Oh, ask my main squeeze Sheila. If I had entered Judas Iscariot, trust me, he would have felt my considerable presence. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. You know what I mean?
Yes, you and Jimmy Woods. I've heard the rumors. So then, it would be safe to say the devil didn't make him do it.
Absolutely. Unless, of course, there's some other devil running around that I don't know about.
Very funny. Really, you are quite charming, Satan. But let us be quite clear. You did nothing, Satan. Nothing to sway Judas Iscariot towards selling out Jesus of Nazareth, Prince of Peace. Correct?
Correct.
Not even a tiny nudge.
Honestly, he didn't require nudging. Judas was a gimme. It happens like that sometimes.
A gimme, yes, a bad seed.
Yes.
Yes, well then, how about after he did the deadly deed? Did you speak to the Savior betrayer then?
I spoke to him, yeah.
Care to share?
Not a problem. I appeared to Mr. Iscariot at Bathsheba's Bar and Grill shortly after the night in question. I was actually in a town for a guy named Abdul Mazi Hatton, but he never showed. Well, I encountered Mr. Iscariot. He appeared to have already taken full advantage of the happy hour. Oh, hello, friend. How are you this evening? This is out of mine. How are you this evening?
Judas on. Okay.
How am I this evening? What are you, a fucking maitre d', man?
I'm Clementine of Cappadocia.
Yeah, well, why don't you go home and fuck your mother, Cappadocia, okay?
Cappadocia.
What?
It's Cappadocia.
Well, let me ask you something, Cappadocia. Do I look like someone who gives a flying fuck right now about where the fuck you're from?
I'm very sorry.
Sorry don't mean shit, Dick. Take all your sorries in the world, pile them up on top of the other. You know what you got, Cappadouche? You got a big pile of fucking nothing is what you got, okay?
You're right.
You want to do something about it?
No, sir.
Then go fuck your mother and leave me the fuck alone.
I will. Thanks for the advice.
Hey, where you going?
Well, it seemed like you preferred to be alone.
Why would I prefer that? What are you saying? I look like some kind of lone wolf, like a fucking piranha, bro?
Do you mean pariah?
I mean what I mean. What do you need, a light or something?
Oh, thanks.
Like this lighter?
Very nice.
I bought it today, man. Expensive shit, but I got it like that.
I can see that you're a man of wealth and substance. I admire that.
Wealth and substance. Don't push it. So what's your name?
Clementine of Cappadocia.
Clementine, eh? Isn't that a girl's name?
Not in Cappadocia.
Well, it is here, bro. You sure you ain't a girl, man?
Probably, pretty sure, yeah.
I'm Judas Iscariot. Maybe you heard of me?
Nah, man, I'm from out of town.
Never heard of me?
Nope.
You don't get around much, do you, Clementine? So whereabouts you from, man? Egypt?
Cappadocia.
That's in Egypt, though, right?
No, Cappadocia is in Cappadocia.
You dig your pyramids, man. And the Sphinx? Bartender, hey, more of that Mesopotamian wine for my Nubian friend, and some dates and figs too. Smoke opium, Clem? Clam?
Clem?
And some opium, bartender. But
You seem like a man on a mission.
took this girl to a puppet show today, man.
Yeah, how was it?
Fucking sucked. Puppets are bullshit, you know?
In Cappadocia, we burn puppets.
Well, you people got the right idea over there. That Pharaoh, he's a smart man. Yeah, man. Hey, Clammy, cheers.
Yes.
Yeah, whoa, hey, man, that's a nice shirt. What'd you pay for it?
2 pieces of silver.
2 pieces of silver? Ha! I'll give you 5. Here you go. Switch shirts with me.
But I'm rather fond of this shirt.
Come on, man. Switch shirts, switch shirts. We're buds. Now friends and shit. I'll let you be my wingman. Get you laid, bro.
Ooh, a nice brunette.
2 brunettes and a eunuch. Come on, strip.
Oh, okay. Oh, he was so drunk, he didn't even notice my unmistakably satanic stench.
Yo, I dig this shirt. What is it, silk?
From Cappadocia.
Fucking Cappadocian silk, all right.
Your shirt is nice too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks, man. That's a nice thing to say, yeah. Been a while since I heard something nice. That's really nice, bro. Hey, man, if I told you something corny, would you think that I was like a dick?
Not at all.
Okay. I'm kind of mildly afraid of going to hell.
Why?
Minor incident last night, miscalculation on my part, nothing serious.
Well, one thing I could tell you about hell, as an internal destination, it's apparently vastly underrated.
Yeah?
And hell is nothing more than the absence of God, which, if you're looking for a good time, is not at all a bad thing. You want to play the lute? Sing Merit Chapin Carpenter? That's what heaven's for. You want to rock? Apparently, hell's the venue.
You know, like girls down there?
Not many, but I hear they import them from developing nations on weekends. But hey, I wouldn't worry about going to hell.
You know, even if I did something perhaps a little controversial?
God understands.
Yeah, but some choices have like consequences.
Come on, you really think you have a choice?
Well, don't we?
Okay. Did you pass by that fucking disgusting, stinking fucking leper on your way here tonight?
Who? Freddie?
Freddie, yeah. You think he had a chance? Freddie's stinking it up out there. Can't catch his balls for fear of pulling out his testes. Huh? And what about what's-his-face from the old days, Job? Do you think if Job had a choice, he would have been like, okay, God, enough. I get the fucking point.
Yeah, but Job did say that.
Yes, he did. And what happened next, Judas? God kept right on fucking with him until Job made the only choice available, which was to quietly keep his wrinkled ass cheeks spread wider than the Red Sea till God got tired of drilling him for oil.
Yes. But say, never mind.
What?
Not important.
Come on.
Okay. Well, say, what if someone were to betray, for example, the Messiah?
You mean the Messiah?
Yeah. Say some idiot had a choice to betray the Messiah or not betray him, and he chose to betray him.
Gee, I couldn't say. What do you think?
Let's say the guy's fucked, right?
I really couldn't say.
Come on, Clams. I'm just asking.
Well, since you asked, I guess I'd say that if this guy
is just some hypothetical guy here.
Right. I'd say that if this clown we're talking about betrayed the Messiah, that probably it would have been better for that man if he had never been born.
Never been born?
Hey, you asked.
That's heavy, man. It's a fucking heavy trip, man, Clams.
I'm thirsty. How about you?
It's fucking really heavy.
Let's have another round here. Pops, 2 barrel of wine and a hooker menu. You okay, man?
Slam, slam. I just realized that I haven't been laid in 3 years, bro. Can you believe that? Guy like me?
3 years.
Wasted my prime, man. And then I wasted my prime after my prime.
Well, I think you'll probably get fucked tonight, bro.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I want another fucking drink. Tonight, man, I'm gonna drink this fucking bar.
Hey, Judas, let me ask you something. Who is this Jesus of Nazareth guy I've been hearing about?
Jesus of Nazareth?
Yeah, I heard he's some kind of somebody.
Some kind of somebody?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Ah, fuck. That guy, man, he's a bitch.
Fuck that guy.
I can't even. I'm going to say Tom.
Sic Deus dilexit mundum.
Hey,
Act
y'all.
two.
This is Mary Maggs, and she the only bitch I'll let hang up in here with me, so tell them what you gotta say.
My name is Mary of Magdala. I was a disciple of Jesus. I was present at the crucifixion, and I was the first person he appeared to after the resurrection.
Bitch got clout.
I was one of the founders of the Christian faith, and I was known for my ability in times of difficulty to be able to turn the hearts of apostles towards the good.
The good.
Some people think I was a whore.
Misogynist bitches.
Other people think Jesus was my husband.
Feminatic bitches.
I was not a whore.
Imps up, pose down.
I was an unmarried woman in a town of ill repute.
Ill repute.
And also, I was not the wife of Jesus either.
Still love you.
But I am pretty sure that I was his best friend. We shared an intimacy that I cannot put to words except to say we saw into each other's hearts and were in love with what we found.
Love.
I also know Judas Iscariot very well.
Gangsta.
Out of 12, he was the most moody and most impetuous, and yet he was my favorite.
Tupac!
And in some ways, I think he was Jesus's favorite too. Judas was almost an alter ego of Jesus. He was the shadow to Jesus's light. He was the sour to the sweet, the cool to the warm. They often walked together, more often than not arguing. No one could get a rise out of Jesus like Judas could. I can remember times when Jesus emerged from an argument with Judas positively furious, shaking his head wildly, snorting and clicking his teeth, red-faced with exasperation. And he would tell me what they'd been fighting about, still agitated, but inevitably he would end up staring into space and sighing, smiling. I think if someone were to say that Judas was good for Jesus, they would not be mistaken.
Not mistaken.
When I think of Judas, my heart breaks.
But Mary Maggs, if we are all eternal, and if human life is the only the first mile in a billion, do you honestly believe that God could abandon any motherfucker so soon in the journey?
I don't know. Jesus never talks about it. That's how I know. His heart hurts worse than mine.
Next witness.
I was on mute. Defense calls Sigmund Freud, Your Honor.
Hey, name.
Dr. Sigismund Schlomo Freud.
Dr. Freud, would it be accurate to say that you qualify as an expert in the field of modern psychiatry?
Fraulein, I am modern psychiatry.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness is boasting.
Overruled.
But a bolster, Your Eminence. It is distasteful, really.
Sit down, Alpha, you me.
I lunge to obey you, Your Grace. But let this record reflect that the prosecution has grave reservations about this man's alleged so-called standing as a psychiatric expert.
Perhaps a quick jaunt to London for a leisurely perusal of the standard edition of the complete psychological works of Sigmund Freud, volumes 1 through 24, would set your mind at ease.
Perhaps it would be if you were in the... I see. Right. Yes, of course.
Dr. Freud.
Yes, yes.
You are, in fact, the father of psychoanalysis, correct?
I am.
You maintained a private practice in neuropathology for nearly a half-century. Is that not so?
It is.
You were on the cover of Time magazine in an issue dedicated to the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century.
I was.
Are you familiar with the case history of one Judas Iscariot?
Most certainly.
Dr. Freud, in your expert opinion, can a suicide victim be pre-certified as psychotic?
Without question. Man's instinct for self-preservation is his most supple and reflexive muscle. When that muscle fails, it is because his mind has failed. A decision to take out one's own life can only be precipitated by a failure of the mind, an irrational rebellion against man's most basic instinct to endure and live. Therefore, the victim of a suicide must be pre-certified as indeed psychotic.
In your expert opinion, Dr. Freud, was Judas Iscariot a psychotic?
Without question.
And are psychotics responsible for their actions?
No, they are not. For example, say I have a bout of influenza. As a result of my bad influenza, I sneeze rudely but involuntarily in your face. The next day, you wake up with the same flu. Did I cause your flu? Nein. My flu caused your flu. I only sneezed because I was sick.
In your opinion, Dr. Freud, does Judas Iscariot belong in hell?
Nein, he does not.
Explain.
Suicide is a direct sign of mental illness.
But did he become mentally ill after allegedly betraying Jesus of Nazareth, or was he mentally ill to begin with?
Pre-programmed, yes. You must understand, normal people do not kill themselves, even under supreme duress or extreme duress.
And what would you say to people who would say that Judas brought about his own mental illness by betraying Jesus and getting him crucified?
I would say this. Number one, you cannot conjure about bringing about mental illness. Number two, any God who punishes the mentally ill is not worth worshiping. And number three, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The person who could have prevented this tragedy was Jesus, not Judas. He chose not to.
But isn't Judas responsible because he did what he did of his own free will?
Fraulein. I believe firmly in taking responsibility. And so, after the unfortunate woman's death, I exercised responsibility for my greatness. By moving my offices to the ground floor, I should thank God would have done the same.
Your witness.
Dr. Freud, yes, sorry for the mix-up before.
Excuse me?
So, Herr Doctor, I must admit, I am intimidated to be in the midst of such greatness. After all, you are a genius, correct?
Correct.
An expert.
Yes.
A big brain.
Unequivocally.
Yes, unequivocally. A nice word, yes. And it rolls off your tongue so effortlessly. Really, I am impressed. A little tired, are we, Doctor? Perhaps a kilo or two of fine grade Bolivian flake would restore your pep.
Excuse me?
Cocaine, Doctor. Blow, flake, rock. She don't lie, does she, Doc?
What?
Over a 12-year span, you consumed cocaine in what can only be categorized as prodigiously massive quantities, correct?
As part of my research, yes.
Research, yes. And after 12 years of around-the-clock research, you finally came to the conclusion that ingesting staggering amounts of powder up your nose was perhaps unhealthy.
I was trying to determine the medicinal value.
Is that your real nose?
Your mother denied you her breast, didn't she?
I'll thank you to let me ask the questions, Dr. Freud.
Freud!
Ah, yes, Freud, of course. Forgive me. I made a slip, huh? Didn't I? Anyway, a last question, Mr. Expert Genius, Dr. Freud. You were an avowed atheist all your life, correct?
Correct.
And then you died and found out what?
I experienced anti-Semitism as a child. It prejudiced me against all religion.
Einstein experienced prejudice, but he wasn't wrong like you, was he? My cousin Wadwig can count up to 10 without drooling, but he wasn't wrong like you either, was he? Was he?
Intelligence and faith are two different things.
Are they, Dr. Freud? Because I would say that you can't have one without the other. But of course, I'm not a brilliant genius expert like you, am I?
I had a wonderful, vibrant mind, and my medicinal intellectual curiosity was boundless.
Good day, Doctor. Go blow your nose. You are excused.
Commit suicide, yes or no?
No! Though they can sometimes be tempted to murder.
Go murder an 8-ball, egghead.
That's enough. Next witness.
Irresistibly alluring majesty. Prosecution calls legendary Hawaiian singer and popular entertainer Don Ho to the stand.
Don Ho's not dead.
Oh, well, thank God for that. Huh? In that case, prosecution calls Caiaphas the Elder, high priest of the Sanhedrin, to the stand.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at this time I must excuse myself from these proceedings until such time as said witness has concluded testimony. Before his ascension into the lap of the Lord, Caiaphas the Elder and I were partners in a successful chain of kosher pizza parlors in the East Purgatory. For that reason, at this time, I must step down. Bailiff, Get your ass over here, put on these glasses, and adjudicate. Pronto. Proceed.
Fabiana, may I borrow a pen?
Only if I can shove it through your eye.
Fabiana, how can I prove my sincerity to you? Even though you are always here and I am always here, still, I think of you when you aren't here, even though you are always here. Huh?
Next witness, please.
Yes, I obey. Later we shall discuss. Huh? Yes, Julius the bailiff, correct? May I call you Julius?
All right.
How about Jules?
I guess.
So tell me, Jay, shall we commence?
That'd be good.
Wise Jay. Prosecution calls Caiaphas the elder. Caiaphas the elder, high priest of the Sanhedrin, hello to you.
Hello.
Shalom, as it were.
Shalom.
Caiaphas the elder, perhaps you can clear this up. Is there a Caiaphas the younger?
No.
And yet you are the elder?
Yes.
I see. Yes, I thank you. My cousin Amgad Wahaba owes me $5 now. So, Caiaphas the elder. In the Bible, it says that Judas Iscariot made an approach to you, a dark and nefarious approach, to offer up the location of Jesus of Nazareth and to, in fact, turn him into you and the authorities. Correct?
Correct.
Caiaphas the elder, are you saying that it was Judas Iscariot who approached you and not the other way around?
Yes.
Because I saw in a film once, Caiaphas the elder, where it was you that approached him.
It was Judas Iscariot who approached me at the temple, not the other way around.
Yes, but still, even though your statement is indeed confirmed by all four Gospels, Caiaphas the elder, I must ask you again. Did you approach Judas Iscariot about betraying his leader and Messiah, Jesus of Nazareth?
I did not.
Why not? Jesus was a big headache to you, no? You were legitimately concerned that the hijinks of Jesus would lead to an uprising and resulting crashing Roman massacre of your Jewish people in retribution, weren't you?
I was.
So, why not reach out and touch someone, Caiaphas the elder?
Are you asking me why I didn't try to approach one of the apostles initially?
Yes.
I didn't think it would work.
Oh, and why not?
There is an old rabbinical saying, let them kill you, but do not cross the line. During my 18-year reign as head of the Sanhedrin and guardian of the temple, I dealt with countless messiahs, zealots, rebels, and fanatical believers. My experience in these matters taught me they get killed, yes, but as a rule, they do not cross the line.
Cross the line. Yes. This means what?
To betray your ideals, your conscience, the law.
Judas crossed that line, didn't he?
He did.
He betrayed the ideal in betraying Jesus, the rabbinical ideal. He crossed the line.
Yes.
Do you admire that?
No, I do not.
But why not? We all cross the line sometimes, don't we?
We are all capable of crossing the line. Thankfully, we do not all do it.
But really, Caiaphas the Elder, what's the big deal? You cross the line, so what? Just draw yourself another line, correct?
No, not correct.
Why not?
The line comes from God, doesn't it? The line is given. We do not create it, and thus it is not ours to modify. It is only ours to obey or betray.
See, Caiaphas the Elder, when Pontius Pilate first arrived in Judea, he visited you in the temple, did he not?
He did.
And as a show of his force and might, Pontius Pilate attempted to place symbols of Rome in the temple, which was to your people a great desecration of your holy place of worship, correct?
Correct.
It would have constituted worshipping of false idols, yes?
Yes.
Caiaphas the Elder, when you saw Pontius Pilate attempting to do this, what did you do?
I told him he must remove the pagan symbols.
And what did Pilate say?
I believe the gist of his reply was, "What are you going to do about it, Curly?"
And what did you do?
I knelt before him.
And begged for mercy?
No.
Groveled for forgiveness?
No. I removed my headdress, bared my throat to him, and bid him to slit it.
In other words, Caiaphas the Elder, you let him kill you, but you did not cross the line.
I guess so, yes.
You did not cross the line.
No, I did not.
Just crossed it, though, didn't he? Judas crossed it. Interesting. And by the way, what was the result of your stand with hated him, didn't it? His little Roman balls rolling down the temple hill like withered purple grapes. Yes?
I have no response to that.
As well you shouldn't. Now then, last question, Caiaphas the Elder. It has been said that in Western culture, the most prized virtue is honesty. But in Eastern culture, the most prized virtue was and is loyalty. Caiaphas the Elder, do you agree with said hypothesis?
Counselor, there are 613 sacred laws in our Torah. Complying with these laws requires honesty and loyalty. But the most important requirement of the law is obedience to it. That is what is most prized.
Yes, fair enough. But in your opinion, was Judas Iscariot loyal?
Obviously not.
Or was he honest?
No.
Caiaphas the Elder, was Judas Iscariot obedient?
To his own will and desires, yes, I believe that he was.
And to service that will and those desires, Judas crossed the line, didn't he?
He served a necessary purpose, but as a fellow Jew, I confess he disgusted me.
Caiaphas the elder, I thank you. And may I add, you are much more handsome in person than when they portray you on the silver screen.
High priest of the Sanhedrin. That was an extremely powerful and prestigious position in Judea, correct?
Correct.
In fact, except for the Roman governor and King Herod, the high priest was actually, in actuality, the most powerful position in Judea, was it not?
Yes.
Would you mind looking me in the eye when you respond to a question?
My position was very important. As high priest of the populace and our tradition.
Caiaphas, is there a reason why you won't meet my gaze? Or is ignoring women simply another component of the tradition you were charged to maintain?
Objection, Julius. The witness is not just a holy man, but a very holy man. Defense counsel is aware she is juicy, pulchritudinous dish, and yet the witness is being berated for merely avoiding the salacious temptation of her intoxicatingly firm and fervently aromatic flesh. I move to censure, really.
I withdraw the question.
Sexy vixen, you are warned.
Hey.
Oh, Julius, yes, forgive me. She makes my organs bounce. Yes, sorry. Yes.
Caiaphas, you stated to the prosecution that Judas Iscariot, quote, crossed the line, unquote, and that he, quote, disgusted you, unquote, correct?
Correct.
Well, then maybe you can help me out here, because I'm a little confused. Judas Iscariot handed Jesus of Nazareth over to you, correct?
Yes.
And then you handed Jesus of Nazareth over to Pontius Pilate, correct?
I did.
So, what exactly is the difference between you and Judas Iscariot? Because unless I'm missing something here, I fail to see it.
Between me and Judas, big difference.
Caiaphas, you were a rabbi and a Jew. Jesus was a rabbi and a Jew. Is it not crossing the line for one rabbi to hand over another rabbi to be killed by pagans?
Jesus was a blaspheming, seditious rabbi, and I did not know for sure that he would be killed.
But the penalty for sedition is crucifixion, correct?
That was the Roman charge, not mine.
Yes, yes. Your charge was blasphemy. And what is the penalty for blasphemy, Caiaphas?
Your Honor, I will not sit here and be blamed for the death of Christ once again.
No one's blaming you for the death of Christ, Caiaphas. I'm simply asking you a question which I'm directing you to answer now before this court. You charged Jesus with blasphemy. What was the penalty for that blasphemy, Caiaphas?
Stoning, followed by hanging.
So then how can you sit there and pretend that you didn't know for sure that Jesus of Nazareth would be killed?
Jesus could have easily saved himself.
Saved himself how?
By retracting his blasphemous claims. Our Torah has 613 sacred laws. I can't even count how many Jesus broke or treated with wanton disregard and disdain. He broke the laws that came from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He violated the word of God. He violated the laws of Moses. He consorted with the unclean and with women and prostitutes. He performed miracles on the Sabbath. He proclaimed himself Messiah. He forgave sin. Who was he to forgive sin? Only God can do that. If that's not crossing the line, then I don't know what is.
Jesus was fulfilling your Old Testament prophecies of Isaiah to the letter.
He was also fulfilling the prophecies in Deuteronomy, Messiahs and marvel workers. It would have been one thing had he confined himself to the forests and rivers, spouting his ravings as the Baptist did, but at the great temple, I would have been a derelict to not put a stop to it. He was whipping people, kicking them, threatening to destroy the temple, calling it a den of thieves. If someone did that in your St. Patrick's Cathedral, would you not arrest them?
And yet, Judas Iscariot, who came forward in the face of this great threat, is in your eyes not a patriot, but a traitor. A traitor who, in your words, disgusted you. Why is that, Caiaphas?
Because he handed Jesus over for money.
And why did you hand Jesus over, Caiaphas?
The words and deeds of Jesus were leading towards rebellion. And the price of rebellion under Roman rule was a bloodbath, a massacre, counselor. So I determined that it were better to have one man dead than 1,000. That is why.
Oh, I see. You were looking out for the common Jewish man. Is that correct?
I was.
Were you a common Jewish man, Caiaphas?
In the eyes of God, we are all the same.
But how about in the eyes of the common Jewish man? You were seen as an aristocrat, weren't you?
I came from wealth.
Would you say that you were popular with the common Jewish man?
My job was a sacred one, not a popularity contest.
The high temple taxes that you inflicted on your people, would you say that that made you more popular with the common Jewish man or less popular?
Objection, Your Honor. The vixen is badgering.
Sustained.
The exchange rates at the temple were also extremely unfavorable to the common Jewish man, and the purification pools outside the temple, where the common Jewish man was required by law to be cleansed before being permitted to enter the temple, the purification pools were not free either, were they?
Cunningham.
No, I'll answer. The laws were the laws, and the rates were the rates.
And did you have a sliding scale for the poor?
No.
So the poor, who constituted a large percentage of the common Jewish man at the time, remained impure and unclean and were denied the rights of worship.
You've made your point.
No, I don't think I have. Your position, Caiaphas, did not require you to be popular with the common Jewish man, did it?
My position required me to answer to God.
Did God appoint you high priest of the Sanhedrin?
It was with God's blessing.
It was with Rome's blessing, Caiaphas. You were appointed by Rome, and at the end of the day, for the 18 years you served, that's who you had to answer to, and that's who you were required to be popular with. And the day you showed Rome that you couldn't handle your own people was the day that you'd have been thrown out on your ass. Now, isn't that true?
I belonged to God, not to Rome. My job was to uphold the 613 sacred laws to protect my temple and my people. And that's what I did.
And was Jesus of Nazareth not one of your people, Caiaphas? Whether he was a Messiah or a prophet or a holy man or a crazy man, was he not one of your own? And was it not considered the height of treachery to betray Jewish blood to your oppressors? Come on, Caiaphas. Tell us that it did not prick your conscience to turn Jesus, a fellow Jew, over to the Romans? Tell us that handing over a fellow rabbi to certain death at the hands of the enemy didn't violate your sense of crossing the line and your knowledge of the law? Tell us, Caiaphas, that at the end of the day, there was a difference in the eyes of God between what you did and what Judas did. This is purgatory, Caiaphas. I got all day.
In terms of result, no difference.
How about in terms of follow through? Judas recanted and tried to return the silver, did he not?
He did.
And you, Caiaphas, did you do anything at all to try to prevent Jesus' death?
No.
And therein lies the real difference between you and Judas Iscariot, does it not? And yet, you sit here and say how Judas crossed the line and that he disgusted you. And if that's true, Caiaphas, then I wonder how you must have felt about yourself.
That's between me and God.
Oh, well, then for your sake, Caiaphas, I sure hope that your God has a more forward-thinking attitude than Judas's God does. Step down, you're excused.
Caiaphas the elder, Judas approached you, correct?
Yes.
He didn't have to approach you, Caiaphas the elder, did he?
No.
And yet he did.
Yes.
Of his own free will.
Yes.
And accepted payment for his betrayal.
Yes.
Payment. Judas did not say, Caiaphas the elder, put your money away, mister. This one's on the arm, right?
Right.
Caiaphas the elder, I think we all realize the precarious position you are in, trying to protect your citizens from Roman reprisal.
And it makes you feel good to say that, doesn't it? After 2,000 years of persecution and vilification, you finally get around to saying, hey, we know it wasn't you and your people's fault. Isn't that it?
The good Caiaphas the elder, I was only trying to...
In your case, right? I'll tell you what. You people call me, I come. You question, I answer. But please, never say that you realize the position I was in, because you have no idea the position I was in. And never try to excuse or forgive me, because I am not interested in your forgiveness. God's forgiveness. This interests me. Yours, I could care less. Why? Because you have no idea. The people who need forgiving, the people who perpetrated the lies and exaggerations that became sacrosanct fact and led to the hatred and violence for the past 2,000 years. They led to hatred and violence. They are the ones who need forgiving, and not by you, but by me and my people. It's the writers of the gospel who need forgiveness, not me. No, sir. I know what it is to suffer. Do you? I don't think so. Julius, my best to Frank.
You're a very handsome man, Caiaphas.
If I am, it's because God made me, not because you said so. Good day.
Unmute.
St. Thomas.
There I am. My name is Thomas. At the Last Supper, I was the first one to say that I would die for Jesus. And I was also the first one to head for the hills during 90 when the Romans came and arrested him. And then, when Jesus resurrected himself, I was also the guy who said I wouldn't believe he was who he said he was unless I could see with my own eyes the holes in his hands and personally inspect them and touch them as if I was some qualified medical examiner, like I was Quincy or something. But the thing of it was, Jesus showed them to me. And not only that, he let me touch them. And in a ministry based entirely on the virtues of faith, he gave me proof. I had no faith, and he gave it to me for free. I don't know why I got the benefit of my doubt, and Judas didn't get help with his. And I'm not saying this just because I like the guy, because personally I thought Judas was a bit of a jerk-off. Actually, fucking dick would be probably more accurate. Judas was the kind of guy who, at least with me, where 1 minute he's your friend, and then the next minute he's making fun of you in front of everybody. He used to like to say that the reason Jesus had to do the miracle of the loaves and the fishes was because I ate all the food when no one was looking. Stuff like that. But then on the other times, he could be real nice. Like once we were partnered together to go into town and to heal people and cast out demons, and well, I had some problems that day. Everyone I tried to heal ended up getting worse. In fact, this one lady, I almost blinded, and another guy started going into convulsions. But Judas fixed it. He healed them. He really did. And that tells me his faith was genuine. And when we got back to camp that night, he didn't tell anybody about how I messed up. In fact, he said I did a good job, and I appreciated that. I knew Jesus knew it was bullshit, but I appreciated the gesture. I thought it showed largeness on Judas's part. And the thing is, Judas was kind of a dick, but he wasn't shallow or petty. He really was pretty large. He wasn't the best, but he was far from the worst. Jesus liked him a lot, in fact. Judas was right up there with the top three, with Mary Magdalene and Peter, who, by the way, could also be a dick sometimes too. The trick with Peter was never talk about fish. The guy was crazy for fish. Say something wrong about a fish and forget about it. This guy would go crazy. Anyways, some people say Judas did what he did because he was greedy. Personally, I think that's bullshit. The guy wasn't wandering around the desert for 3 years with Jesus and a bunch of ragamuffins like us because he was looking to get rich. Other people say that the devil got into him. Again, bullshit. Judas was loyal to a fault, obsessively loyal even. Judas would have taken on the devil and his entire army, 1 against 1,000 if he had to, and he would have done it with relish. Other people said Judas did it because he knew the ship was sinking and he was trying to get himself a nut or something to fall back on. Listen, Judas was not a fallback guy. He was 100% fall forward. And to me, that deserves some consideration. I was not fall forward, not by a long shot. And neither were most of the others. Judas was a dick, but he deserved better. It's just one saint's opinion.
Next witness.
At this time, defense would like to introduce Exhibit A14, Ancient Surveillance of an event that occurred less than 24 hours after Jesus' arrest. Spikes, please.
Pilot gonna kick your ass. Soldier 2.
Who are the soldiers?
Pilot gonna kick your ass.
I'm gonna see that ass. He gonna kick 2 times.
So when Pilot see this motherfucker's ass, he gonna be like, Centurion, it's time to whoop ass.
He gonna rape your wives.
He gonna take your cattle.
He gonna kick your cattle's ass too.
And your sheep and your lambs.
Pilot gonna cancel your grandmother's WIC check, B.
What's damn ruckus about?
Oh, hell.
Hell, Pontius Pilate.
Hell.
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 Hell. Hell.
Is there a problem here?
Judas is trying to recant.
Hold up a minute. Who?
Judas Iscariot from the Jesus of Nazareth crew.
This stinky motherfucker right here.
Jesus is an innocent man, please.
Should we stop whooping ass now?
He's innocent, please, please. Jesus is innocent.
Come on now, Judas. Them San who said, hold up a sec. Yo, Kurt, what they call themselves?
Sanhedrin, sir.
Right. Judas, them Sanhedrin sons. They paid you 30 pieces of silver. Well, that's 4 months' wages. That ain't no chicken feed.
I made a mistake, please. Please, don't understand, man.
I understand perfectly. You sold out your brother. Now you feel guilty, so you're trying to come in here talking about, it was dark against the wrong motherfucker. But we Romans, man. Romans don't dance that song.
I'm recanting.
Can't recant. Hey, fellas, you remember the last Semite strolled up in here talking about I recant? J. Crew, you don't want to do that. What you need to do is relax, brother. Take the wifey to a puppet show, something. Say nothing but a little PR opportunity before the holidays, that's all.
He's innocent. Please, please.
Hey, now listen, Judas. You don't give no good goddamn about this Jesus. You're just a motherfucker talk a lot of shit. Everybody talks shit. Even I've been known to talk a little shit. Once in a while. The thing is, we ain't trying to lay down no heavy charge on that Nazareth boy. We're just gonna bear down his ass a little, make him we'll call it happy. So we could all go in peace. I mean, don't you want to live in peace, Judas? Ain't that what it's all about?
Yeah.
Okay, then. I mean, after all, brother, ain't like we're looking to crucify the motherfucker.
Calls Pontius Pilate. Defense calls Pontius Pilate.
I object.
On what grounds?
On the grounds that it is objectionable.
Overruled.
But, Your Holiness, really, it is objectionable. I sense it, although I cannot put it into words.
Overruled.
Name.
Just Pilate.
Pontius Pilate.
That's right, baby.
But you are a licensed pilot?
Sit down, Alpha, you, me.
Pontius Pilate. Judas Iscariot came down to your tent to recant his testimony. Is that correct?
On the advice of counsel, I cite my right to plead the Fifth Amendment.
You bear responsibility for the death of Jesus Christ, not Judas Iscariot, but you. Isn't that correct, Pontius Pilate?
On the advice of counsel, I cite my right to plead the Fifth Amendment.
Well, Judas came to your office and begged you on bended knee to take the money and release Jesus, and you refused him. Judas recanted. He tried to return the money, first to the Sanhedrin and then to you. Do you deny that?
Hey,
I had messed up as bad as that cat had, I would have tried to rebate them ducats too.
So you admit that Judas did try?
No, I do not admit that he tried. Did you hear me admit that?
We all know what happened, Pilate. We just saw the tape.
There ain't nothing on that tape that implicates me or anything but trying to find a peacefully non-lethal solution to a potentially incendiary problem.
Right. Mr. Pilate, you were the 5th prefect of Judea, correct?
Correct.
A prefect being what?
Governor, so known as a procurator. My official title is hegemon.
Hegemon?
Yeah, translated from the Greek, it means excellency.
Ah, I see. And you governed or procurated over Judea from 26 to 36 AD, correct?
The longest 10 years of my life.
And why do you say that?
You ever been to Judea, Missy? It ain't Paris, France. Believe that.
I see.
Yeah. And Moses must have read the map backwards. Misplaced his bifocals or something, because if that was the promised land, shit. Them Jews should have held out for a better promise.
No, you didn't care for Judea much?
Care for it? It's the armpit of the empire, if you ask me. No atmosphere. Nothing. Hot, dirty, dusty. Flies everywhere. Complete lack of culture and amusements. I'd rather spend 10 years up the inside the crack of my ass. But, you know, Augustus ordered me to keep up the peace there, so I obeyed my emperor, did my duty.
And kept the peace.
Pax Romana, baby, the prime directive. That's right.
And under your rule, how was the peace kept in Judea, Mr. Pilate?
By any means necessary.
Violently?
Violently or otherwise. They was free to have it any way they wanted.
According to Philo of Alexandria, who wrote about you in 41 CE, your tenure as governor of Rome was known for its, quote, constantly repeated executions without trial, wanton injustices, graft, and ceaseless and grievous cruelty, unquote. Care to comment?
No, I do not.
During your reign as procurator in Jerusalem, how many deaths did you order?
A lot. I don't apologize for it either. Them Jews was rowdy.
Rowdy.
That's right, rowdy, as in not docile, as in a motherfucker had to put his foot down.
And you put it down, didn't you?
Damn Skippy, I did. What is from Rome? What's a brother to do?
During your tenure in Judea, how many crucifixions would you say you ordered?
Hey, a lot less than my predecessors, that's for damn sure. That motherfucker would crucify a Semite for yelling fire at a barbecue. That man would go wild back from jump. Me, I reduced crucifixions in Palestine by 70%, and now that's documented.
Oh, well, that's lovely, Mr. Pilate, but I'll direct you now to answer the question as posed to you.
What was that?
How many crucifixions did you preside over during your time in Jerusalem?
Say 500, give or take. So what?
Over 700 crucifixions while you were on assignment in Judea. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, sounds good to me, sure.
And you publicly washed your hands of how many of them, Mr. Pilate?
I don't know what you mean by that.
I mean that other than Jesus of Nazareth, out of over 700 crucifixions and countless executions, did you ever, in any other instance, publicly wash your hands and attempt to abdicate responsibility for your actions, Mr. Pilate?
I don't recall.
You backpedaled because you knew it was wrong, didn't you?
Hey, Romans don't have backpedals.
You knew Jesus was a holy man or a fool, but whatever he was, you believed him when he said that
His kingdom wasn't on earth, didn't you?
Now, I don't recall that conversation.
You don't recall that conversation? You know what, Mr. Pilate? Why don't you say that again so I can slap a perjury charge on you? You ordered the death of Christ, you and you alone, and then you pawned it off on Jesus's reticence and Judas's impetuousness and the politics of the Sanhedrin and the rowdiness of the Jewish people. Is that not the case, Pontius Pilate? Yes or no?
You can go on squawking if you want to. My conscience is clean. What you need to do, take it up with them Jews.
Mr. Pilate, were the high priests of Jerusalem authorized to order a death sentence?
No, they were not.
Was Herod authorized to order a death sentence?
No, he was not.
How about the Jewish people themselves? Were they free to issue death sentences at their whim and fancy?
No.
One man, Mr. Pilate, in all of Judea, one man alone had the authority to put another man to death. Who was that man, Mr. Pilate?
Hey, am I on trial here? Last time I checked, it was your client Judas Iscariot. Freezing his narrow ass off in the ninth circle of hell, not me.
My client recanted with a remorseful heart and was ignored.
Then you need to take that up with them Jews, not me. I mean, this ain't no some new theory that I'm introducing to you. It's documented. Ain't no Sherlock Holmes, Nancy Drew mystery here, lady. Them Jews was cantankerous, ornery. They worshiped a jealous, angry, and vengeful God. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. They was angry, jealous, and vengeful themselves. Look, I never had a problem in Judea. It wasn't caused by some rabble-rousing, no-account Jew. You believe me, sister, you need to talk to them, not me.
It's always the Jews, isn't it, Mr. Pilate?
Sure shit was in Judea, Missy.
You want to know what I really think, Mr. Pilate? I think this whole story about your hemming and hawing about what to do with Jesus is just a load of made-up crap written by Jewish Christian evangelists seeking to broaden the appeal of the Jesus story to the Roman Empire. There is nothing that we know about you, Mr. Pilate, absolutely nothing, that suggests for even a second that you would have even a passing hesitation about putting any Jew to death, let alone a revolutionary figure like Jesus, who was being proclaimed the Messiah, who had entered the city of Jerusalem, the crowds of cheering supporters, and who had the very next day incited a riot at the temple. You hated your assignment. You hated Judea. And Mr. Pilate, you hated Jews. Hated them. You hated the Jews because they contested you. You hated them because they fought back. You hated them because they clung to their religious beliefs and were willing to die for them. But most of all, I think you hated them because you knew they were stronger than you. I think that bothered you a great deal. I think, Mr. Pilate, that it made you resentful and vengeful and furious. I think it made you feel small and inadequate. I think it gave you skin irritations and nervous tics. I think it kept you up at night, and I think it made you count the days till you could return to the safe bourgeois comfort of Rome. That's what I think. I think you're hiding behind historical inaccuracies and outright lies, Mr. Pilate. I think that you are a liar and a fraud. I think that when Jesus was put before you, you did not see a God or a prophet. You did not see a lunatic or an innocent. You didn't even see a human being. I think, Mr. Pilate, that what you saw before you that morning was just one more Jew. And you didn't hesitate. Why would you? You didn't wash your hands, Pontius Pilate. History did it for you. Isn't that true?
I had enough.
If you were a man, Pilate, you'd own up to the truth.
Truth? What truth are you talking about, Red? The truth is, I was made a saint in the Ethiopian church. The truth is, I was named a martyr for the Christian church in 348 AD. Now, that's the damn truth.
A Christian martyr?
Did I stutter, girly?
Well, I guess that's what they mean about history being a lie agreed to.
A lie? You know about what's a lie and what's the truth. What you know about my history? Well, you got to go on to some book written 4 different ways by 4 different Jews, wasn't even there in the first place. And what you know about my life after Palestine, huh? What you know about what I might have did or what I didn't do when I got back to the motherland. That's right, you don't know jack, do you? You didn't write down that part of the story, did they? Shit, I'm going to tell you something. You and your presumptuous nature reminds me more and more of my ex-wife Rhonda every minute. And believe me, that ain't no compliment. Yeah, I met that Jesus boy. He seemed like a fine fellow. Dressed like a hobo, and he smelled like a goat. But hey, give the boy a shave and a shower, and he would have been basically all right. And I'll tell you something else. Unlike Judas, that Nazarene boy had character. He didn't come up on me begging and groveling and crying like a bitch. He faced me like a man. Like a Roman almost. And that impressed me. I was one to have him just be clubbed in the head for a couple hours, redirect his youthful energies. But them Jews, they wasn't having none of that. You could say what you want to, you think what you want to. Them Jews was fixing to pitch a fit. So that boy was served up for lunch, like chicken in the skillet. And they had the numbers on us that weekend, 200,000 strong, converging on the city for those high holidays and ready to rumble at the drop. Look, I did what I had to do to preserve the damn peace. Why? Because that was my damn job. I did my job. I did my damn job. And now you want to call me a liar? Question my veracity and my character? I am a Roman lady. 100%, 24/7. We never close. Underneath my ball sack is stamped Veritas. That means truth. And that means that my honor is defined by my integrity. And my integrity is defined by my truth. And I defy you here and now to produce one shred of evidence to support your wild and defamatory claims. Shit. You better check the resume 2 times before you start trying to sweep your dirt under a Roman's rug. I'm clean like dove and ready for love, missy. I live in heaven. Where you live at, girlfriend? Shit, I'll tell you what, bud. I'll tell you what, though. When you get your head straightened out, why don't you give me a call sometime? If you want to, I'll take you down to the aqueduct for a pizza and a tussle. I'll show you my tattoos. Any more questions?
I think, Mr. Pilot, that you've told us all we need to know.
Yeah, okay, then I'm going to roll out now, boo. Work on my short game.
Witness is excused.
Hail Caesar, baby.
Your Excellency, Hegemon, just one question, if I may.
What's that?
Yes, I wonder if you would tell the court, Hedge, the following. If indeed Judas Iscariot came to your tent to recant, and I'm not saying he did or he didn't, and by the way, the only gospel that says anything at all about Judas recanting is Matthew. So it's 3 against 1, and the one in question was not only a Greek, but a drunken Greek and a card cheat. But anyway, please, tell us now, if you will please, good Sir Hedge, when Judas came to your tent, allegedly to recant, if in fact he did, which I am in no way seeking confirmation of herewith. However, if by chance that gin-soaked Greek was miraculously correct, and Judas did in fact attempt to recant and return the tarnished silver, then tell us, please, and this is very important, Hedge, did you get the sense or impression that Judas was recanting out of a genuine remorse for concern for Jesus? Or do you think he was seeking to undo damage of a neck-saving fear of the dire consequences and everlasting repercussions of betraying our rightful and most exalted and just Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the divine Son of Man?
I am a man, and defense counsel may dispute this, but I'm a man who happens to know something about remorse, personal and otherwise. And on my day, I stared into the eyes of perhaps 10,000 accused men, and I sat in judgment of them. I spared a few, and I executed plenty. I sent people to face the whip, the cell, the gallows, and the cross. And I sent a few home as well. Remorse is rare, but when you see it, it's unmistakable. Judas Iscariot had no remorse. His fear left no room for it. His fear was 100% ego-driven and self-serving. 100% panic, 0% remorse. If you believe nothing else, believe that.
Hedge, thank you. Thank you indeed.
Next witness.
Your Honor, defense reconjures Satan to the stand.
Lou, you can come in now. Bailiff, go fetch him. Go fetch Satan.
Alone?
Go. Have a seat, Lou.
I want to file a formal fucking complaint, Frank.
Oh, this ain't about the turkey roll in the cafeteria again now, is it, Lou?
No, Frank, this is not about the turkey roll in the cafeteria. What this is about, Frank, is I recognize a couple of your court officers at the vending machines. Okay? Ask me how I recognize them, Frank.
Lou.
No, don't you fucking Lou me, you little fag. God been fucking stealing souls again, hasn't he?
Fayumi, escort the jury out.
Yes. Right this way, please.
And you, Honeywell, you're on my fucking list, Hayseed, so don't expect any last-minute reprieves. Shorts and tank tops. Stretch. Pack that.
This is unacceptable behavior, Lou.
Don't tell me what's unacceptable. Those two court officers were mine, Frank. Their souls in hell, safe and secure. What? I don't got enough to contend with? Now I gotta deal with God cruising the barnyards of hell, poaching goddamn poultry like some kind of silver fox-tailed thief in the fucking night. This is bullshit, Frank, and you know it. And I'm not leaving here this time without my satisfaction, so you better do something about it right fucking now.
Something like what?
Number one, I'm not testifying at any more of these circle jerks no more. I'm not some kind of wind-up doll to be summoned and dismissed like a fucking toy. Number two, I want 2 souls before I leave here today. So take a memo and pass it on upstairs. I'll take you and whoever.
Me?
Yeah, you. I should have claimed you off the dung heap after Lee's surrender. And I want some Dalbon and a tall bourbon neat. What the fuck are you looking at? Why? You got someplace you gotta be, dish rag?
No. When you're done crying, just let me know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe you can clear this up for me. But is today fuck with someone who can rip your heart out through your miserable dried up cunt day? Is that what day that is? Cause unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure that today is not that day.
Today is your day to answer my questions. When you're through behaving like a petulant child, that is.
Cunningham, I'm directing you to hit the off switch on them flapping gums of yours until further notice. And you, Lou, with all due respect to your stature and station, could you please cut me a break here, please?
Frank, I've always been good to you. Don't you forget.
Not to you, is that not so? Now listen, your complaint is duly noted and will be kicked upstairs at the conclusion of today's testimony, okay? Now, I need to call the damn jury back in here. Now, what I need to know from the both of you is that when I move to do so, that you two will conduct yourselves with a deportment in adjustment to the solemnity of these proceedings. Now, can I have your words on that?
Ready to proceed, Your Honor.
With civility.
If I'm met with civility.
You know what, Cunningham? All those excuses you got wedged between that dubious cleavage of yours, your mother, the bulimia, the herpes, the blues, the abortions, the rape, the bipolar pharmaceutical adventures, the twin suicide attempts, and the abject failures at every relationship you ever attempted. All those things do nothing to band-aid the simple fact that there comes a time when the world stops rewarding potential. And when that time came for you, you threw yourself to the world's biggest pity party and dedicated the rest of your short, pathetic, inconsequential life to finding fault everywhere fucking else but in the return gaze of your own cosmetically altered reflection. Okay?
Satan, please. You are perhaps out of bounds here.
Delve me, on a good day, your cock measures 3.5 inches erect, and it goes off on a hair trigger if you so much as sneeze. Worse than that, you're a flatterer, and your love of God is utterly false, as is your hair color. And the sole reason you're so hot for this nasty train wreck over here is because you're addicted to tragedy and punishment, not because you think you're a piece of shit, but because, the truth is your self-diagnosis is correct. You're a bag of hot air and a weakling, and you will never ever be loved. You'll never be loved either, Cunningham, and that's because you're incapable of giving it. But you already knew that about yourself, didn't you? You can't bring in the jury. You can bring in the jury now, Frank. Never let it be said that the Prince of Lies stood in the way of truth.
No more outbursts.
I'm a Buddha floating on a lily pond.
Yumi, bring him on in.
Yes, sir. Sir. Take your seats, please. Do not tarry.
Counselor, you may begin.
I apologize for my earlier behavior, Counselor. I had some bad fish at lunch.
Mr. Satan, you've had a long-standing feud with God, correct?
No, I love God.
You love God?
Very much. God made me.
Okay, you say God made you.
God did make me. It says so in the Bible.
I know about the Bible, Mr. Satan. It also says in the Bible, in Matthew 1, I believe, in Matthew, I believe, it says, a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, correct?
Correct.
So are you saying that you are good, or are you saying that God is bad?
I would never say that God is bad.
So then you're telling this court that you're good?
I don't know. Are you good, Counselor?
That's not what I asked you.
I'm sorry.
Just answer the question.
I don't believe in good and bad. What I believe in is truth.
Fine. According to Job and Nehemiah, God created you in the first 3 days, true?
True.
You were an angel.
True.
You were present when God created earth.
True.
Then God created man and gave him, not you, dominion over the earth, true?
True.
You were in fact ordered by God to serve man, true?
True.
According to Genesis and Ezekiel, you then tempted Eve to eat the apple in order to prove to God that he had made an error in giving man dominion over earth. At which point, according to Luke, you then, quote, fell from heaven like lightning, unquote, and became God's adversary. And ever since that day, you have competed for souls with God in order to prove the point that man is not worthy to rule over the earth. Isn't that true, Mr.
I
Satan?
don't compete with God. God competes with himself.
That's not what I asked you.
I'm trying to answer your question.
No, you are not trying to answer my question.
Your Honor, I'm trying to form a response here.
Let him answer, Cunningham.
Oh, you're on mute, Bernie.
Your Honor, it does seem to me that...
Quiet. Proceed.
Thank you. Look, I didn't make you people. God did, okay? But there was a design flaw in the creation. He gave you free will, and to balance that out, you were designed to self-correct. But unlike the free will muscle, the self-correct muscle is not a particular favorite of the Homo sapiens. I'd say self-correct falls somewhere between colonoscopy and firing squad on most people's holiday wish lists. At any rate, the truth is, I don't have to actively compete for human souls. I don't have to lull or flatter or tempt or deceive, because with God at the helm and you people running around wreaking havoc, I'll be honest, I spend most of my time on the sofa watching 1-hour dramas on HBO.
And what? Getting tossed out of heaven, that didn't bother you at all?
There's a concept, Cunningham, called playing the cards you were dealt. One can either accept that concept, or one can slowly lose their mind, heart, and soul. I'd like to be more helpful to you here, but really, that's what it all comes down to.
Is that so?
I'm just a fallen angel trying to keep my dick hard in a monotheistic society. Anything else you want to ask?
Your Honor, this witness is clearly lying. I move his entire testimony be struck from the record.
I'll not allow that. Sorry. You conjured him. What comes out of his mouth is your responsibility.
But he's obviously lying.
You ought to expand your consciousness, Counselor.
Your Honor.
Unless you have another question, Cunningham, I suggest you step down now.
But...
Forward or back, you've been instructed. Now, what'll it be?
Why do you love God, Mr. Satan?
What's not to love?
Specifically, Mr. Satan, what specifically do you love about God?
I don't know where to begin.
Pick a spot.
I love God because he is all-powerful and all-forgiving. I love God because his justice is perfect. I love God because God loves me.
God loves you?
Very much. Gift basket at Christmas. Hallmark greetings on all the major holidays.
Oh, stop it. If God loves you, then why did he throw you out of his kingdom?
He didn't throw me out. I left.
That's not what it says in the Bible.
Yeah, they fudge that part. You're right. But that's because you people really only respond to fear and threat. If they told you straight up that there was no lock to the gates of heaven, then you'd have no incentive at all to even try to be halfway decent.
In other words, God lied.
God didn't write the Bible. You do know that, right?
Of course I know that.
Then why would you say that God lied?
Mr. Satan, does God love Judas Iscariot? Yes or no?
God loves everybody.
And yet Judas is in hell. So what use is God's love to Judas if my client is allowed to languish in damnation?
Your client is free to leave whenever he wants to. In fact, I wish he would. I could use a room.
That is not true, and you know it.
Look, maybe you should sit down and catch your breath.
The real truth is that God's love for us is conditional, isn't that right? You failed to meet God's conditions, and he threw you in the trash. Judas failed, and he is in a catatonic stupor.
Your client succumbed to despair.
Yes, and if human despair is so powerful as to render God powerless over it, well then, what does that say about God? It says one of two things, Mr. Satan. Either God's not all-powerful and therefore useless, or God's love is conditional, which renders that love false and unworthy. Which one is it?
Cunningham, please don't take this personally, but your father never really loved you or wanted you, right? And the only reason your mother didn't abort you was because she was afraid of scarring. I think she told you that once. didn't she?
Mr.
Just
Satan.
because your parents resented you doesn't mean that God does.
Mr. Satan, I asked you a direct question, and I am demanding from you a direct answer.
The direct answer is that you are completely wrong.
Is God powerless or spiteful? I am ordering you to answer.
You're powerless and spiteful, Cunningham, not God.
Your Honor, he's not answering.
What do you want me to do about it?
But he's not answering.
Open your heart to God, Cunningham.
Shut up. Your Honor.
I suggest you step down, Cunningham.
But I'm not finished.
Then finish.
Your Honor, this isn't fair.
It is what it is, Cunningham.
But Your Honor.
Cunningham.
Your Honor.
What, Cunningham? What?
You're a fucking liar.
I'm truly sorry you feel that way.
Nothing further.
L-I-U-M-E, cross.
Oh.
No cross, no.
You're excused.
Thanks, Frank. Counselors, you availed yourselves as expected. And by the way, El Fayumi, you're completely wrong too. I'll be in touch.
Next witness.
Right now, I'm in Fallujah. I'm in Darfur. I'm on 63rd and Park, having dinner with Ellen Barkin and Ron Perlman. Right now, I'm on Lafayette and Astor, waiting to hit you up for change so that I can get high. I'm taking a walk through the Rose Garden with George Bush. I'm helping Donald Rumsfeld get a good night's sleep. I was in that cave with Osama and on that plane with Muhammad Atta. And what I want you to know is that your work has barely begun. And I want you to trust is the efficiency of divine love if practiced consciously. And what I need you to believe is that if you hate who I love, that you do not know me at all. And make no mistake, who I love is every last one. I am every last one. People ask of me, where are you? Where are you? Verily, I ask of you to ask yourself, where are you? Where are you? Judas? Judas?
Who's that?
Is it ever anybody else, Judas? I miss you.
Uh-huh.
I miss you, Judas.
Don't fucking touch me.
Judas.
I said, take your fucking hands off me. Take them off.
I'm sorry. I'm
Back off my grill, man. Back off.
sorry.
Back off more.
I'm sorry. Judas, if 1,000 strangers spit on me and kick me as they pass, I will smile. But if the brother of my heart gives me only a passing hard look, then Judas, I will not sleep that night, nor sleep at all, till he will let me love him again.
No.
No what?
No more fucking fortune cookies, that's what. You want to say something? He'll stop you. You want to apologize? Fine. Apologize and go. Just for once. Speak like a normal fucking person.
I'm not a normal person, Judas, and I'm not here to apologize. I am who I am and not what you demand me to be. I'm always going to be who I am and what I am. And when have you ever heard me deliver my message any differently, Judas? When?
Like, just go away.
I won't go away.
That'd be a first.
I've never gone away, Judas. Look at me. I love you, Judas. And all I want is to not just be near you, but with you.
Been thought of that before.
Before what?
Get the fuck out of here, okay?
Judas.
Don't fucking Judas me. You're not wanted here, okay? Mr. fucking above it all.
I'm not above it all. I'm right here in it. Don't you see that?
Don't you get that I don't fucking care?
You think your suffering is a one-way street? It's not. It's the exact opposite of not.
You've got a lot of fucking nerve.
And you've got no nerve at all. Where's your heart in all this, Judas? You think you were with me for any other reason than that? It was your heart, Judas. You were all heart. You were my heart. Don't you know that?
Tell you what I know. I watched you trip over your own dusty feet to heal the sick, the blind, the lame, the unclean. Ain't two big strangers stubbing their fucking toe when some lowly, distant relative, too cheap to buy enough wine for his own fucking wedding, suddenly runs out of booze. No problem. You just Western Changeo. And it was fucking Miller time and old Canaan again, wasn't it, bro? But when I fucking needed you, where the fuck were you, huh?
Judas.
You forgave Peter and bullshit Thomas. You knocked Paul of Tarsus off a horse. You raised Lazarus from the fucking dead. But me, your heart? What about me? What about me, Jesus, huh? You just, I made a mistake. And if that was wrong, then you should have told me. And if a broken heart wasn't sufficient reason to hang, then you should have told me that too.
Don't you think that if I knew that it would have changed your mind, that I would have?
All I know is that you broke me unfixable and that I'm here. And you want to know when you delivered your message differently? At the temple, Jesus, that's when. And you were beautiful there. And you left there 3 inches taller. And we all saw it. I loved you. That's all I did. And that's the truth. And now I'm here.
Judas, what if I were to tell you that you are not here? That you are with me in my kingdom even now? And that you have been there since the morning of my ascension and that you have never left?
That's what I think about you.
I love you, Judas. I love you.
Just stop.
Don't you see me here, Judas?
I see a lot of things.
You see a lot of things.
That's right.
How about him? Do you see him? Do you know him? Call unto him. Touch him. He is not there. Because he does not exist, Judas. Rather, they must conjure him, and still he is but a vapor blown away by a hummingbird's breath. He's false. He is a lie. He is not real. Touch him. Go ahead.
I want to touch him.
Stand up, Judas.
You know I can't do that.
No. What I know is that you can.
Look over yourself.
Will you feed my lambs, Judas? Will you take care of my little sheep? Will you feed my lambs?
Feed your lambs.
You know exactly what I'm asking you.
Away.
If you don't love me, Judas, then you're going to have to look me in the eyes and say it.
I don't love you.
If you don't love me, then why are you here?
Go.
Judas, don't you know what would happen the very instant you got down on your knees?
Why on my knees? They should have buried me standing up because I've been on my knees my whole life. You left me.
I'm right here.
I would have never believed that you could have left me.
I never left you.
You didn't love me.
I do love you.
Why? Didn't you make me good enough that you could have loved me?
Please take my hands, Judas. Please.
Where are they?
Right here.
I can't see them.
They're right here.
Where are you going?
I'm right here.
Don't leave me.
I'm here.
I can't hurt.
I love you, Judas.
I can't.
Please stay.
I can't hurt.
Please love me, Judas.
I can't.
Mr. Iscariot? Mr. Iscariot, I don't know if you can hear me, but I just wanted to introduce myself to you if I could. I'm Butch Honeywell. I was the foreman of the jury at your trial there, and well, we found you guilty, Mr. Iscariot. I'm real sorry about that. I brought you this here 12 pack a bit. Well, actually, it's a 5 pack now. But anyway, here I don't know if you drink beer, but it's good stuff. Eh, Anyway, I'll just set this right down here beside you, right here. Okay then. So I think I'm dead, Mr. Iscariot, and I'm a little concerned about that because I don't think my soul's ready for judgment. But nobody else has so far corroborated that I'm dead, so I just don't bring it up. But the fact that this is a dream, it is the longest damn dream I have ever endured. And really, I just really miss my wife, Mr. Scary. Is that okay if I tell you that? Mm. I remember the first time I saw her. I was with these two girls, right? The first time I seen my wife, Mr. Iscariot, it was a party at Jimmy Rayborn's home. Ah, Jimmy, his mama used to work to midnight, so he had the house to himself, and he used these two girls, Susie Heller and Della Mae Robbins. They were just talking, smoking cigarettes out here on Mr. Rayburn's deck, away from the party. I was depressed and something or another, probably because school was ending. Plus, I had just been in school play. I played Tom in the Glass Menagerie. It was the first time I had ever acted, and everyone said I was real good. But now the play was over, and school was about to end, and well, the best part of the play, they had given me this real short haircut, like 1940 style, and my ears, Mr. Scary, I don't know if you can notice, but they stick out a little bit, and well, with the short haircut and all, I was feeling a little self-conscious and dumb. Anyway, just not too cheery. Well, so anyways, out there on the deck, with these two girls, just talking with Susie and Della, and all of a sudden, I get to see this girl inside the party, and she had, I guess, just arrived, and she had on a red jacket. It was a cheerleading jacket from the high school just across the state line in Virginia, the Red Raiders. And I remember all I saw was blonde hair and a red jacket, and this smile, even from a distance, just kind of electrifying to the heart. About a minute later, the sliding door, the deck opens, and this girl, she comes out by herself, and she's heading towards us. Turns out she's friends with Della from back in the day, from, I don't know, Girl Scouts, brownies, something like that. Anyway, she walks over, and she was just so beautiful that I remember thinking to myself that this here is exactly the word for word what I thought. I ain't never gonna bother to talk to this girl. So she comes over, she says hello, and I'm just gonna excuse myself right off the back, head back inside, fixing to say my goodbyes and skedaddle. And anyways, I try to leave, but then Jimmy hands me a beer, and someone else starts passing a bottle of Rebel Yell, and well, before you know it, bong hits and whatnot. And anyways, a little ways later, I'm sitting on the couch with this girl, my future wife. She just comes up to me and she says, "I saw you in the play the other night. You made me cry." 2 days later, we went out on a date. On way back, I was driving her home, and we passed by this house where my friend Dave Hogg used to live, who had died. I, I hadn't been to his house since he passed. The family didn't live there no more. But when I saw him, I saw the house. I got stuck with this feeling, and I asked her if she wouldn't mind if we just pulled over and parked in front of the house for just a moment. She said, "Sure." So I parked, and we just sat in the car for a while, quiet. not saying nothing, and before I knew it, Mr. Iscariot, I was tearing up because this kid, he had been a real good friend of mine, and then I started crying, Mr. Iscariot. I just couldn't help myself. I couldn't shut it off, and I was real embarrassed. And she just held me while the tears and whatnot just poured out of me and on her little white sweater, and she didn't mind about it. That she didn't mind that at all. And at some point, I just drove her home, and we got to her door, and we started to kiss. And well, God, it was like, I tell you, it was like peaches and dynamite. Yeah, and before I left, I apologized to her about the crying and all, and she said, "Don't be a jack off, Butch Honeywell." And I smiled, but then I went on to explain my meaning, which was, if you want a girl to think you're sensitive or something, then maybe talking to her about taking to your house of your dead friend and crying all over her pretty white sweater might not be a good way to pull it off. You know what she said, Mr. Iscariot? She looked at me for a good long while with them all the way dazzling eyes of hers, and then she just said, "Well, if it was a trick, then I'm tricked." uh, 3 years into our marriage, I took a job teaching at State College. I was popular with the students because I found a way to make them want to learn. One night at the end of the semester, they took me out for beers. I ended up having a assignation with one of the co-eds, young lady named Lucy. I went home that night, got into bed next to my wife, drunk as a skunk. And I remember before I passed out, I was looking at her. I always liked to look at her when she was sleeping because, well, she always looked so good. I had this little nickname for her. I used to call her my little baby dinosaur. Because that's how she looked when she slept, like one of those cute cartoon little baby dinosaurs, like a little baby brontosaurus, but cute. Anyways, when I woke up the next morning, she was still sleeping, and what I had done the night before came back to me, and I looked at my wife, and boy, she looked exactly the same as always. but somehow she just wasn't my little baby dinosaur no more, you know? And she woke up, and she didn't know nothing about nothing, and everything was exactly the same as the night before had happened. Like nothing had happened except it wasn't the same. I knew it, and I had no idea why I had done what I had done, but I had done it, and it couldn't be changed. My girl, she got up and fixed blueberry French toast with maple walnut pecans. I didn't eat it. No way I could have eaten it. Nothing was ever the same after that morning, Mr. Iscariot. I tried a lot of things to make it better. The only thing that did was more bear and woman. Do you know who W.H. Auden was, Mr. Iscariot? W.H. Auden was a poet who once said, "God may reduce you on Judgment Day to tears of shame, reciting by heart the poems you would have written had your life been good." She was my poem, Mr. Iscariot. Her and the kids, but mostly her. You cashed in silver, Mr. Iscariot, but me, I threw away gold. That's a fact. That is a natural fact.
A long beat, Jesus sighs, takes off his shirt, plunges it into the bucket, rinses, and begins to wash Judas's feet. Jesus washes meticulously and with care. He washes and washes. Perhaps the water is mixed with tears as lights fade. End of play.
Yay.
Very nice, guys. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a
You
lot.
guys created some amazing characters here.
I know. You were so, I don't, where is he? Where'd he go? That Satan was amazing, but everyone was really good. Goldberg, thank you guys so much for letting me join and share.
Thank you.
Thank
It was a
you.
lot of fun.
Have a good night, everybody.
Nice work,
I think we should keep doing this even after this thing goes away.